The world of zombies, beginning with a golden spell at maximum level. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101, Other Thoughts. Lin Kaiyun's blood was abnormally abundant, and blood beads condensed into arrows. Whoosh! The blood arrow shot out and headed straight for Zhuangqi. This was not over yet. Lin Kaiyun pulled the bow together again and shot out blood arrows. 2 blood arrows, one in front and one behind, shot into Zhuangqi's body at a very fast speed. The blood in Lin Kaiyun's body was instantly reduced by half, his face was pale, and he was exhausted. Of course, Zhuangqi was even more miserable at this time. This blood arrow can be resisted with corpse key, and it will not be seriously injured, but a knife can also stab people to death. It is unbearable to be attacked all the time. Roar! Zhuangqi roared angrily and continued to spit out corpse key to resist. Lin Kaiyun sneered at this. The blood arrow shot by this demon bow could not be blocked at all. To put it bluntly, it was using his blood to exchange for the opponent's damage. If he could withstand 3 arrows, the opponent would win. If he couldn't resist, he would win. It was a skill of killing 1,000 enemies and injuring 800 of himself. According to Zuinka's defense, even if Lin Kaiyun, who is fearless and brave enough to shoot all 4 arrows, could not seriously injure it, let alone 3 arrows, it is estimated that he would not be able to seriously injure it. But now it is different. Lin Kaiyun turned his head, looked at King, and asked embarrassedly, King, if I suck your blood, you won't suffer any loss, right? King shook her head and replied, probably not. The goo worm will automatically replenish my blood and ki. In other words, I can keep sucking, Lin Kaiyun said after hearing this, and then immediately realized that his words seemed a bit ambiguous, and hurriedly explained, what I mean is, can I keep shooting arrows? Yeah. King blushed and lowered her head and moaned. King, please turn your head sideways. I'll take another breath, I'm going to shoot this old zombie through the heart. After Lin Kaiyun finished speaking, he stared at King's neck. The scar had miraculously healed, but there were still clear teeth marks. He couldn't help but be a little moved, and asked, King, can we only bite the neck? Is there no other way? King raised her hand, brushed off her sleeves to reveal her jade-like wrist and said, the wrist is also okay, but you can't suck as fast as the neck, no problem. Then the wrist. Here I come. Lin Kaiyun was not polite and bit it directly. Anyway, the posture of biting the neck just now was shameful enough, and this time the wrist was much easier to accept. King pursed her lips shyly. This time it was not so painful, but there was a strange feeling. Soon, Lin Kaiyun's blood was restored, and he drew the bow and shot the arrow again, aiming at Zhuangqi. Zhuangqi also roared angrily and wanted to fight Lin Kaiyun to the death. At the same time, the entire earth slope began to shake slightly, and this abnormality caused Lin Kaiyun and Zhuangqi to stop their hands at the same time. Yukilo, who was at the bottom of the earth slope, had already stopped casting spells with her hands. She showed a ghostly smile, put her hands on her red lips, and took out a bead covered with strange patterns from her small mouth. The bead exuded a cherry red light, which was particularly shining at night, like a treasure from the sky, making people feel that it should not exist in the world. This dazzling red bead was placed steadily in Yukilo's delicate palm. She blew a breath, and the bead rolled, slowly floated up, and gradually rose into the air. When it rose to about 100 meters, the cherry red bead spun rapidly, throwing out red powder and making a sizzling sound. Ka! The red bead suddenly cracked, and with a bang, it exploded. In an instant, the blood mist in the sky covered the moonlight, and with a pool as the center, it fell down and formed a thin barrier, covering the entire 4th turn earth dragon vein and the pool. There was a drop of blood on the top of the barrier, which slowly fell down. In the air, it transformed into a small flower with only 4 petals and fell into Yukilo's hands. The small flower was blood red all over, flashing a strange and evil light, and the petals were about to fall, which actually gave people a feeling of love and pity. Zhang, this is a godsend. After tonight, you will have the most perfect body. Yukilo looked at Zhang's weak soul and said with an intoxicated face. Zhang's soul was protected by the paperman and was not broken up by Lin Kaiyun, but it was also very weak. He shook his head at Yukilo. Kilo, you don't have to be like this. I am very satisfied to be a ghost accompanying you. No, Yu Kiluo's face suddenly became firm, and she shouted arrogantly, I have been preparing for so long, this time is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Zhuang Kui was also attracted by those two people, the opportunity cannot be missed. She started collecting zombies decades ago, including the mysterious man in Renjia town who made a deal with her. At that time, she just wanted to solve the mystery of immortality. However, after meeting Zhang Xianzong, Yu Qiluo wanted to find an immortal body for Zhang Xianzong, especially after Zhang Xianzong was killed by Wuxin. Yu Qiluo was thinking about helping Zhang Xianzong to resurrect. By chance, she met Prince Zachen, and the two hit it off, but Yu Qiluo had her own ideas. She wanted to monopolize the body in the coffin and use the method of defying the heaven to make Zhang Xianzong a zombie with a soul. Thinking of the hardships along the way, Yu Qiluo became more determined. She gently pushed the flower out, and the 4 petals separated from the body one by one without any error, and fell right above the pool. The 4 petals instantly turned into a large amount of blood, seeping downwards. In the blood-colored enchantment, several cracks appeared on the ground and continued to spread. All the ghost corpses in the angle fell into the cracks, and blood continued to flow to the 4 raised soil roots. The dead earthworms on the 4 dark wood coffins gradually turned blood red, as if they were alive, and merged with the blood-colored soil. Under the influence of the huge yin energy and blood, the dead earthworms gradually emitted a weak earth dragon energy, which made the 4 soil roots evolve. Bang! The 4 raised soil roots actually beat, like a heart. They seemed to have life, and each one lifted up with force, holding up the 4 coffins containing the royal zombies, bathing in the moonlight. The 4 soil roots were like 4 dragon claws, lifting up the coffin of the royal zombie, surrounding the pool in the purple sarcophagus in the center. The vibration also attracted everyone's attention. Lin Kaiyun looked at the raised dragon claws with a look of shock. Is this a fake dragon vein? Yu Qiluo actually created a fake dragon vein? What is she going to do? How could this happen? Prince Zachen was also puzzled. Although he was just an ordinary person, he had done a lot of homework before. The royal zombie itself had the royal dragon energy, so there was no need for a fake dragon vein. Yanin on the side noticed something was wrong and shouted, it's bad. Prince, this witch might have other ideas. Chapter 102, The Snipe and the Clam Fight, prepare to finish off. Yu Qiluo's behavior at this time was obviously abnormal. This more powerful yin qi than before made Lin Kaiyun a little frightened. Moreover, this blood-colored barrier seemed to be defending something, such as the zombie king Zhuang Kui in front of him. Prince Zachen was also very anxious at this time, and shouted to Zhuang Kui, Uncle Zhuang Kui, this witch may have other intentions, you should stop her quickly. Zhuang Kui heard what Prince Zachen said, glared at Lin Kaiyun angrily, and roared. Even if Lin Kaiyun did not understand the zombie language, he guessed what Zhuang Kui's roar meant. It must be something. You are lucky, otherwise I would definitely kill you. Lin Kaiyun rolled up his sleeves, pretending to draw a bow and shoot an arrow, and cursed directly without any hesitation, old zombie, if you dare to glare at me again, believe it or not, I will shoot you to death, so that you will have no time to take care of Yu Qiluo. Roar. Zhuang Kui twitched very humanely, and was obviously hit by Lin Kaiyun's words. Now, for Zhuangqian and Prince Zachen, Lin Kaiyun was at most an annoyance, and Yu Qiluo, who had revealed her true intention at this time, was the most worrying thing for them. After all, the body of Hanba and the 4 royal zombies were all they had planned. But for Lin Kaiyun, it was just a dog-eat-dog fight. He didn't know what was going on. Anyway, Zhuangqian and Yu Qiluo were not good people. He had been looking forward to their internal strife. Now, it was not just an internal strife, but a deadly enemy. At this time, the surrounding terrain trembled again, more obviously than before, and ordinary people could easily detect it. Rumble. A wide crack suddenly appeared under the slope, and the visible corpse gas rolled out of the crack, polluting the earth dragon gas produced by the dead earthworms. Get up, Yu Qiluo crossed her hands and shouted, and suddenly the cold wind swept, and it whistled and rotated with a pool as the center, gradually forming a dark vortex of yin qi. Bang! The 4 dragon claws guarding the purple jade coffin suddenly rose on the spot, causing dust to fly. For a moment, sand and rocks flew everywhere, and the bloody aura in the pool rushed up to the sky, completely destroying the entire 4th turn earth dragon vein. The other 4 dark wood coffins also fell down and were inserted vertically into the soil. It's bad, the earth dragon raised its head again. What on earth is Yu Qiluo going to do? Lin Kaiyun couldn't see the whole situation, but the 4 dragon claws suddenly raised up, which was in line with the terrain of the earth dragon raising its head. The earth dragon raising its head is either auspicious or ominous. Now looking at this huge yin energy in Yu Kiluo's posture, it is definitely not auspicious. Roar. Zhuan Kui roared, as if cursing Yu Kiluo, and completely abandoned Lin Kaiyun and jumped down the earth slope. Seeing this, King didn't care whether to raise her head or not. She pulled Lin Kaiyun's hand and said very seriously, "Brother Lin, don't worry about what she is going to do. Let's take this opportunity to go, no hurry." Lin Kaiyun shook his head, tilted his head to smile at King, and said, "Let's observe for a while. When the snipe and the clam fight, one of them is bound to be injured. Maybe we can make up the loss then." Make up the loss, that's right, let's watch the battle from the edge for a while and approach quietly. Lin Kaiyun pulled King and swaggered to the boulder before. On the way, he greeted Prince Zachin and teased, "Little Chunzi, don't hide over there. The view is not good. It would be great if we could watch the battle together on the boulder." Damn it, this damn Taoist really insulted me. Prince Zachin was so angry when he heard this that he wished he could peel off Lin Kaiyun's skin. He ordered to Yanayan, "Go quickly and kill the Taoist for me." Yanayan rejected Prince Zachin very tactfully and smiled, "Prince, the overall situation should be taken into consideration." Overall situation? Don't you dare. Prince Zachin glanced at Yanayan and the twin crowmen with disdain, and said sarcastically, "The Taoist priest has been seriously injured by Uncle Zhuangke, and now he is vulnerable." Seriously injured by Zhuangke? Vulnerable? Yanayan looked at the several blood holes on Zhuangke's body and Lin Kaiyun's calm and indifferent look, and complained in her heart. The power of the blood arrow was extremely terrifying. It was obviously Zhuangke who was injured by Lin Kaiyun. Do you think I am a fool? At the same time, Zhuangke jumped very fast and reached the blood-colored barrier in an instant, but it did not slow down at all and crashed straight into it. Buzz! Buzz! The blood-colored barrier hummed, as if liquid was flowing, offsetting Zhuangke's power. Roar. Zhuan Kui roared angrily, and the corpse key on his claws kept attacking the barrier. The corpse key continued to spread, trying to corrode the barrier. Yu Kiluo was confident in her barrier, but Zhuan Kui's attack was not weak, especially the corpse key. It was not a long-term solution to keep getting beaten. Even the strongest shield would be broken at some point. Yu Kiluo was not ready to sit and wait for death. She stretched out 3 fingers like tiger claws, and placed her index and middle fingers on her palm. The spirit is the hand, the god is the foot, and the ghost key of heaven and earth is the head. There is no east, west, south or north. Ghost paper giant, merge, in an instant. A large amount of red energy condensed on her hand, like a needle and thread, merging all the small paper people together, and instantly turned into 4 huge paper people, with bloodshot eyes, sharp fingers, and a terrifying ghost key surrounding them. Lin Kaiyun had seen this move before. It was in the cave in the back mountain of Renjia town that the mysterious man performed it, but the mysterious man only knew the form but not the method, and the paper giant's form did not have such a terrifying ghost key around them. GGGG. The paper giant made a terrifying and chaotic sound. The sound was full of disturbing aura, as if it had a physical body, desperately drilling into the brain of the person who heard the sound. King, plug it in. Lin Kaiyun took out the talisman paper, rolled it up, bit his fingertips and put a drop of blood on it, handed it to King, and then stuffed it in his ear. Prince Zachin on the side was a bit unlucky. Yanayan had no time to take care of him. Suddenly, the whole person seemed to be stupid, covering his head in pain, and making miserable cries. Zhuangke was a zombie, and the sound had no effect on it, but the 4 huge paper giants rushed up and immediately surrounded Zhuangke, punching and kicking him. Roar. Zhuangke howled and fought back against the paper giant. Every blow of his claws wrapped in corpse key could cut a big hole in the body of the paper giant, but the ghost key around the paper giant immediately restored the hole. For a while, Zhuangke had no time to attack the barrier again. Yu Kiluo also took the opportunity to free her hands, holding her breath and concentrating. With the ghost energy bursting out from her body, heaven and earth are unkind, the 6 realms are deaf, ghosts are at my service, lonely ghosts obey my orders, gold is hidden in the 5 internal organs, all things are spirits, mountains and seas determine the destiny of the universe, and 4 dragons occupy the spiritual roots. Chapter 103 Another Ferryman. Yu Kiluo bent her index finger and middle finger on her right hand toward her palm. This was the gesture for casting all her secret arts. No east, no west, no south, no north. Every time she shouted, her hand pointed in the opposite direction. Ghost array, start. In an instant, along the edge of the blood-colored fog, countless lonely ghosts crawled out from the ground. Yukilo raised her jade hand and waved it along the direction of the purple jade coffin. A terrifying phantom suddenly appeared on her forehead. It was a four-hoofed monster with white hair on its head, long fangs, and a beast face on its front hooves and knees. It kept roaring, and was wrapped in red blood chains that extended from Yukilo's eyebrows. This phantom flashed by, stirring up the Taiyi Qi and the entire blood-colored fog. All the lonely ghosts were immediately crushed, turning into black gas that merged with the Taiyi Qi and drilled directly into the purple jade coffin. What is this? Lin Kaiyun, who was standing on the boulder ready to watch the show, suddenly widened his eyes. He clearly felt that Yukilo below had summoned a lot of wandering ghosts. Could this be the task assigned by Wu Shifei, the soul summoning division? Lin Kaiyun couldn't help but fall into thought, then shook his head and immediately rejected the idea. No, there are too few souls, which doesn't match what Uncle Wu Shifei said. Just as Lin Kaiyun was thinking, King's wings stretched out uncontrollably, flashing continuously, and the red-colored patterns were also flashing continuously. She quickly held Lin Kaiyun's arm and slowly said, "Brother Lin, the thing I want has appeared. It's nearby, within 500 meters. What? Within 500 meters, King nodded and answered solemnly, "Yes, Brother Lin, I can't determine the exact location, but the poisonous insect in my body just gave me this information, and I can't feel it now, just now." After listening, Lin Kaiyun narrowed his eyes and looked down. Prince Zachin and Yanayan were hiding in the distance watching the battle like them. Zombie King Zuinka was fighting 4 paper giants, and only Yukilo was moving. Could it be that the thing King was looking for was on Yukilo? This was too coincidental, right? Yukilo didn't care about others. A large number of small paper figures flew out from behind her, opened the lids of 4 dark wood coffins, and revealed the royal zombies lying inside. She pinched the seal with both hands, and the soul-fixing needle on the forehead of the royal zombie shook, and suddenly jumped out of the coffin and stood in front of, behind, and around the purple jade coffin. Yukilo wiped the sweat on her forehead, and with a swipe of her hand, Zhang Xianzhuang's soul flew over uncontrollably. She breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Zhang Xianzhuang, you lie on this purple jade coffin. I will help you cheat reincarnation, and when there is a hole in this corpse of Hanba, you get in." Zhang Xianzhuang's weak soul body didn't say anything, and lay on the purple jade coffin as Yukilo said. Roar. Seeing this, Zhuangqi completely ignored the paper giant and attacked the blood-colored barrier more violently. The majestic corpse gas wrapped around Zhuangqi's body, and one side of the entire barrier was completely corroded by the corpse gas, as if it was in danger of breaking at any time. Lin Kaiyun also noticed it, and said to King, "The barrier of Yukilo seems to be unable to hold up. When they are both injured, we will take action, okay?" King nodded obediently. Yukilo could only burn her boats at this time. She took off the hood of her coat, her hair swayed in the wind, her eyes turned blood red, and blood lines of varying degrees appeared on her cheeks. She shouted in a deep voice, "Yin and Yang return to their origin, and all things are empty. 3 souls and 7 spirits, nothing is uncontrollable. The 4 ancient gods, with a key as the most respected, hidden 7 stars, covering the destiny, done." Boom. The blood-colored barrier trembled violently, and the blood-colored liquid inside quickly circulated. It actually rained blood in the barrier, and instantly dyed the land and the barrier red. The 9 streams also shrank rapidly, and the stream water flowed back and poured into the pool. Reddish hairs grew out of the land, swaying in all directions under the yin energy, which was very strange. Suddenly, countless red threads stretched out from the trembling blood-colored barrier, and each thread was connected to the reddish hairs on the ground. Zzz. All the red threads were disconnected at the place where they were connected to the blood-colored barrier, and were pulled towards the hairs very elastically. At the same time, this pulling elasticity also pulled the hairs up. Countless threads and hairs were intertwined in the middle, like a huge cocoon full of blood vessels, and the blood flow could be clearly seen. Bang bang bang. The sound of violent beating sounded, like a strong and powerful heart. Now it is certain that what you are looking for must be on Yukilo's body. Lin Kaiyun's eyes were focused. The blood cocoon made by Yukilo was very similar to the blood pupa when the goo worm in King's body woke up before. It was very likely that they came from the same source. He turned his head and asked, King, Is the thing jumping in the blood cocoon the one you are looking for? King shook her head and replied solemnly, probably not. The insect in my body didn't give me the kind of feedback just now. Zhang Xianzong, who was lying on the purple jade coffin, didn't care about the blood cocoon that suddenly appeared. He only cared about the red lines on Yu Qiluo's face getting deeper and deeper, which meant that Yu Qiluo had overdrawn too much energy. He called out distressedly, Qiluo, and Yu Qiluo suddenly shouted, come out quickly, if you miss the time, I will make sure you can't do anything. Whoosh! Whoosh! As soon as the words fell, the cold wind howled violently, causing the temperature at night to drop suddenly, and a thin layer of frost formed on the ground. Don't worry. It's better to arrive at the right time than to arrive early. With a deep laugh, a figure appeared. The body was dark and invisible. It was hard to see his appearance, but he was wearing a fashionable dress and had a black long-barreled pistol on his waist. Another ferryman. Although Lin Kaiyun couldn't see the appearance of the person who appeared, he was dressed exactly like the previous soul ferryman Su Si. King tilted her head and asked with a puzzled look, what ferryman? Lin Kaiyun replied calmly, I don't know. Anyway, the guy who was crippled by me last time claimed to be a ferryman. Yu Qiluo took 2 breaths, stared at the soul ferryman who appeared, and shouted, where's the stuff? The soul ferryman couldn't see his expression, and asked back, Yu Qiluo, are you ready for what I want? Yu Qiluo knew that the guy in front of her would not show his eagle until he saw the rabbit, so she didn't hide it and said directly, the remaining power of Hanba and the things in this blood cocoon are enough to make you transcend the 3 realms and 5 elements. Chapter 104, Stay calm, stay calm. It's not surprising whoever shows up. The mysterious soul ferryman swept the blood cocoon and the purple jade coffin respectively. He couldn't tell whether Yu Qiluo was lying to him, but he could only believe it. Yu Qiluo, I hope you don't lie to me. We are on the same boat now, the soul ferryman said half-threateningly, then raised his arm, and a white flag inexplicably appeared in his hand, gently shaking it. Suddenly, a cold wind blew up, and the entire earth slope and the depression below were blown into dust. Even the boulder where Lin Kaiyun and King were standing could feel the extraordinary strength of this cold wind. Under the cold wind, countless points of light flashed all over the mountains and fields, mixed with the humming of ghosts and wolves, which turned out to be countless souls. These souls were tied up in series by black chains, all of them bowed their heads and hunched their waists in a listless manner, and some souls had not even come out of the first 7 days, and some still had human consciousness. These souls were very scared when they saw the scene, and they trembled. Please let me go. I want to reincarnate, Master Ferryman, please. I can ask my family to burn more paper money, and I will give it to you. Let us go to the underworld. Woohoo! The soul ferryman turned the black burl on his waist, and in an instant, the chains on all the souls ejected black electric currents, which shot at the soul bodies. Ah! Spare my life! Spare my life! Spare my life! We know we are wrong, all the souls, conscious and unconscious, screamed. The torture they suffered was no different from hell. Among them, the weaker souls were directly annihilated. What is this? Lin Kaiyun widened his eyes and couldn't help but take a step forward, staring at the large number of souls that suddenly appeared below, muttering, this should be the large number of soul fluctuations that Master Wu Shifu mentioned. Although there was no basis, Lin Kaiyun felt that the large number of souls that appeared below was the purpose of his trip. King looked at Lin Kaiyun in surprise and asked, Brother Lin? What are you talking about? Nothing. Lin Kaiyun shook his head calmly and continued to focus on the souls below. The master Uncle Wu Shifu of the soul-catching division told him to kill as many souls as possible, but in Lin Kaiyun's view, these souls were no different, just with a strange aura that could not distinguish between good and evil. If Lin Kaiyun had not been saving the souls, he would never have noticed it. However, now that Yu Qiluo and the mysterious ferryman were below, especially with a crazy Zuinkin on the periphery, it was not a good opportunity to make a move. Lin Kaiyun decided to wait and find a perfect opportunity. At the same time, Yan'an on the other side had deep eyebrows, glanced at Zachen, and asked, Your Majesty, who is this partner you are looking for? What exactly do you want to do? These are tens of thousands of souls. It's not like there are lonely ghosts everywhere. What on earth is this witch Yu Qiluo going to do? Prince Zachen shouted in a muffled voice, How should I know? If I knew, I would have asked Uncle Zuinki to kill her long ago. Prince Zachen was a marginal figure in the royal family. In order to conceal their tracks, the old and young people in the capital gave this important task to Zachen. Suddenly, it was as if he had turned over a new leaf. He took in anyone who came to seek refuge. And he didn't care about so many things, including Yan'an beside him. He didn't know what organization was behind it. Anyway, as long as they could help complete the plan, he would accept anyone who came. Hearing this, Yan'an said nothing. She didn't care whether Prince Zachen could revive Hanba this time. What she cared about most now was where Zuinka came from. The backup of the old Buddha of the royal family was her goal. Regardless of success or failure, Zuinka would definitely return to his burial place. Yu Kilo was very satisfied with the souls brought by this soul ferryman. In terms of quantity alone, there were more than enough. She lifted her palm, and red energy surged between her fingers, floating in the air, wrapping the blood cocoon. The beating blood cocoon suddenly began to spin, spinning more and more fiercely, gradually forming a red tornado. The wind was like a sharp blade, absorbing the flying sand and rocks around. Under such a fast rotation, the outer shell of the blood cocoon peeled off piece by piece, revealing the diamond-shaped fruit in the middle. The veins of this fruit are clearly visible, exuding an attractive fragrance. Yu Kilo raised her hand, raised her finger and knocked on the surface of the diamond-shaped fruit. Crunch! The corners of the fruit separated up, down, left and right, and instantly separated from a whole. The blood shadow inside flashed by and was caught in Yu Kilo's palm. Then the shell suspended in the air flew in front of the soul ferryman. This is the companion shell of the eternal ghost heart. After using it, it is enough to make your ghost body of eternal life. After that, the energy of the drought demon can also allow you to transcend the 5 elements and 6 realms. The soul ferryman quickly rolled up the shell of the ghost heart. Feeling the energy contained in it, his face revealed joy, and his ghost body actually trembled. Great, I can finally escape from the terrible underworld. At this moment, a crisp voice sounded, Su Liu, so your purpose of deliberately stealing souls is to get rid of the underworld. As soon as the words fell, a burst of energy fluctuations appeared in the barrier. This fluctuation was like a vortex gate, gradually getting bigger, and a man walked out of it. He was wearing a black tweed windbreaker that was knee-length, black tights, and marten boots on his feet. From the perspective of this era, it was a completely Western outfit. After seeing this figure, Lin Kaiyun couldn't help but curse, damn, how could it be him? That's right, Lin Kaiyun can't say that he is familiar with this figure, but he definitely recognizes it. This is clearly Zhao Li in the Soul Fairy. Huh? He took a deep breath, made a Taoist gesture of pressing down the danshan with both hands, and said to himself, calm down, Yu Kilo has it, so it's not surprising that Zhao Li appears. After Zhao Li appeared, the vortex did not close, and there were still figures appearing continuously. There were as many as hundreds of them. These people were dressed in uniform black dresses, leather shoes, and pistols on their waists. They were dressed the same as the soul ferryman who traded with Yu Kilo, except that they didn't have outer clothes. At the same time, there were more than a dozen people in white robes. Although they stood together, they were obviously not of the same type. And unlike these soul ferrymen, these people in white robes were not ghosts, but real people. Su Liu, the soul ferryman who was trading with Yu Kilo, was horrified when he saw Zhao Li. He quickly put away the ghost heart shell and quickly pulled out the pistol from his waist. Su Liu, why didn't you report this operation to me tonight? Zhao Li said, not looking at Su Liu at all. He stepped on a pile of dirt and wiped the dust off his boots. Chapter 105, the Yin soldiers cross the border, the Yang people avoid them. Facing the black pistol in Su Liu's hand, Zhao Li did not react at all, and just wiped his boots. On the contrary, Su Liu, who was holding a weapon, looked extremely panicked at this time, and his body even retreated uncontrollably. Su Liu swallowed his saliva, stared at Zhao Li, his face full of fear, and he begged, Teacher, can you let me go? Teacher, Lin Kaiyun, who was eating melons on the boulder, listened to all directions and looked at the chaos below with curiosity. He muttered softly, the guy who traded with Yu Kilo turned out to be Zhao Li's student? I remember that Zhao Li didn't have any students in Soul Fairy. It's getting more and more interesting. Zhao Li stood up straight, stretched his coat, and said in a cold voice, Xiaoliuzi, send all your souls to the underworld intact for me. I can guarantee that you can die without pain. Zhao Li's inner fluctuations were hidden very well, and there was no sign of anything unusual from the outside. Zhao Li's words were like a ball of ice flame, completely freezing the hope in Su Liu's heart. He no longer held on to the idea of luck, or he had expected to be hunted down by Zhao Li when he chose this step, but he didn't expect it to be so soon. Completely rebounded, since Zhao Li's pursuit had arrived, Su Liu simply let go and put down the gun in his hand. This gun couldn't hurt Zhao Li at all, and it was useless except for adding some false sense of security. He grinned, revealing a strange smile, and shouted, "Teacher, are you willing to live like this forever? No hope, no family, no friends, dealing with this group of mentally retarded ghosts all day long." Zhao Li shook his head, and the melancholy on his face flashed across his face. He slowly said, "Is this why you stole souls? Xiaoliuzi, you have to know that it was my master Acha who gave us the opportunity to continue to survive. Let us practice, and let us have the opportunity to go further, and even be able to practice immortality and rank among the immortals." Zhao Li had some complicated emotions for his student. You have to know that emotions are the most useless things in the underworld. Because their cultivation method is completely different from the traditional underworld, Hades Acha led them to a brand new path. They are not afraid of the sun during the day and can even walk freely in the human world. Of course, the disadvantages of doing so are also very obvious. Continuously consolidating the body causes the ghost body, which originally belonged to the ghost, to evolve towards a physical body. The soul becomes weaker and cannot use the power of ghost cultivation. Therefore, the weapons they wear are also thermal weapons that release spiritual power. At the same time, because the capacity of the soul is too small, it is impossible to store memories. Every once in a while, the ferryman of the underworld has to go to Hades Acha to clear the memory, otherwise a large amount of memory will burst the soul with a small capacity. Therefore, the ferryman of the underworld has almost no emotions. He will only record some important things in a notebook or the sea of memory of the underworld and extract them when necessary. This Su Liu knew that Zhao Li had been his teacher for many years, but now Su Liu's memory of Zhao Li was only 2 months. Hearing this, Su Liu burst into laughter and cursed angrily, "Bullshit. What's the point of living if you can't even control your own memories? Besides, we are not you, Lord Zhao. We still have to fight. If we are not careful, we will be fed to that disgusting monster." Su Liu. After hearing Su Liu's words, Zhao Li's face suddenly darkened. He scolded and continued, "You are my student. I have been tolerant enough to you. Don't slander that person anymore." Su Liu calmed down his emotions. He knew that Zhao Li's memory could be preserved for a long time, and he must have some feelings for his student. He tentatively begged for mercy, "Teacher, I know I was wrong. Will you forgive me this time? Okay, I've already said that I can let you die in a decent way." Su Liu's expression changed. He knew that begging was useless at this time. He turned his head to look at Yu Kilo and said in a deep voice, "Yu Kilo, you and I are now on the same boat. If you don't help me solve the trouble now, these souls will probably be snatched away by these people." Upon hearing this, Yu Kilo glanced sideways at Zhang Xianzhuang's weak soul on the purple jade coffin. Although she did not respond, her attitude was already very clear. Yu Kilo must control these souls. Anyone who wants to touch the souls is her enemy. Zhao Li looked at Yu Kilo and said, half greeting and half warning, "Madam, I am the 1,000-soul leader of this area under your feet. Zhao Li, this is our grudge in the underworld, I hope you don't interfere." Yu Kilo said coldly, "Give me these souls, I don't care, since courtesy is useless." Zhao Li was not surprised by Yu Kilo's attitude. He took out the pistol from his waist and said, "Then I can only retreat." As soon as the voice fell, the ferrymen behind Zhao Li took out their weapons, and the spiritual power was permeated between the muzzles of the guns. Those wearing white robes were also ready. At the same time, Yu Kilo's body was also rolling with red energy, and the battle was about to break out. Lin Kaiyun looked like he was watching a play. "Great, hurry up and fight, I can take action when there is chaos." Instantly, a gust of cold wind blew, surprising everyone. This cold wind seemed familiar. Although the smell was a little different, it was very similar to the previous one when Zhao Li and others appeared. Zhao Li obviously knew something and smiled bitterly. Lin Kaiyun looked left and right, confused, and complained, "What's going on? Are we going to fight or not? I'm tired of watching." Buzz buzz buzz. The Yin soldiers crossed the border, the Yang people avoided. The Yin soldiers crossed the border, the Yang people avoided. Inexplicably, there were bursts of noise in the earth. "Zhao Li, long time no see, your face is full of red light." As soon as the voice fell, a downward step appeared next to the purple jade coffin in the barrier, and white flags kept coming out. Another group of people, the number was no less than Zhao Li's ferrymen, All of them were yin messengers holding soul-catching chains. The leader was wearing light armor, with red lips and white face, and behind him stood the ox-headed and horse-faced ghosts. Play Ghost, Shi Wenai. Zhao Li's eyes were focused. He knew that the underworld had come to make trouble again, but he didn't expect that the one who came was Shi Wenai, one of the 5 ghosts. Shi Wenai saw that Zhao Li recognized him and teased, "Hey, Zhao Li, you actually remembered me. Don't you need to clear your memory? This is the underworld, you have crossed the line, I know. Did I ask someone to shout before? The ghost soldiers have crossed the line. Shi Wenai, are you from the underworld here to cause trouble?" "Zhao Li, I don't know if you are looking for trouble or not. Anyway, whatever you want to do, I won't let you do it." Chapter 106. Just use the small arrow in your hand. People from the underworld? Who is Shi Wenai? Was he also sent by Wu Shifei? Lin Kaiyun looked at the underworld people who appeared below. The aura of these people was exactly the same as that of the soul-catching division he had visited before. At this time, Zhao Li was still confronting Shi Wenai, and they were not willing to give in even when talking to each other. Originally, Su Liu was ready to fight to the death, but when he saw this situation, he suddenly realized that his chance to survive had come. He took out a wooden box from his arms, threw it to Yu Kilo, and shouted, "Yu Kilo, the ghost has been handed over to you. When the time comes, you will resurrect Hanba and store the remaining energy for me. I will come back to find you later." After Su Liu finished speaking, he ran away without looking back. Zhao Li glanced at Su Liu and found his movements. He raised his pistol and pulled the trigger at Su Liu, shouting, "Xiao Liuzi, since you have come this far, I will send you off." Bang! The dark muzzle was filled with spiritual power, and the bullet forged by the special spiritual power of the underworld was ejected and headed straight for Su Liu's vest. "Zhao Li, don't you care about the relationship between teacher and students at all?" Su Liu felt a fierce momentum behind him and was immediately frightened. He quickly shook his clothes to resist, and at the same time bent down to imitate a gun and fired a bullet. The bullet exploded in the air, forming a spiritual power defense magnetic field. Although the ferrymen are based on spiritual power and use the attack method of hot weapons and pistols, the gap in spiritual power forging is irreparable. The bullet shot by Zhao Li easily passed through the magnetic field and hit Su Liu's chest with lightning speed. Su Liu looked down at his injured chest with an unbelievable face. It can't be blocked at all. Why? As a ferryman, he has no heart, but this spiritual power bullet will collide with a ghost body in his body and react. In other words, a big explosion will occur. Boom! Su Liu's body exploded instantly, turning into countless electric currents that shuttled continuously until they dissipated. Zhao Li shook his head regretfully. It was easy for him to kill Su Liu. Now he could say that his student died very happily. At this time, Niutao behind Shi Wenai stepped forward and leaned over to remind him, "Boss, didn't you say that no matter what Zhao Li did this time, you would oppose him and stop him from doing it?" Shi Wenai nodded, "Yes." "What's wrong?" Niutao continued to speak in a daze. "Boss, Zhao Li just killed the ferryman. If you had stopped him, he would have been very uncomfortable." "Makes sense." Shi Wenai thought it made a lot of sense when he heard it. Then he realized that it was wrong. He kicked Niutao and cursed, "Why didn't you say it earlier? Zhao Li has already killed them all. What's the point of your reminder?" Horse-faced man saw Niutao being frustrated and covered his mouth with his hands to laugh. This stupid Niutao was so bad at flattering. The horse-faced guard came over and said, "Boss, these are secondary. As long as we don't let Zhao Li take these souls back, we will succeed." "Good." Shi Wenai was very pleased to hear what the horse-faced guard said. He had to distinguish the primary from the secondary when doing things. He waved his hand and said, "What are you waiting for? Go ahead. Kill all these annoying ferrymen for me." Suddenly, the ox-headed and horse-faced guards behind him howled excitedly and rushed towards Zhao Li and others with a yin cha. Zhao Li's expression became fierce. He looked at the yin cha who rushed over with cold eyes and shouted loudly, "Brothers, let these old ghosts see how powerful we are in our territory." All the ferrymen took out the pistols on their waists, loaded their guns, and fired in unison. The first row of spiritual bullets were net ropes, binding, and the second row of bullets were lethal. Then these ferrymen threw out iron plates one by one, smashed them on the ground, and shut out electric currents. "Fuck, what the hell is this?" A special forces soldier, Lin Kaiyun, couldn't believe his eyes. The blind ferryman he had dealt with the night before was also armed with a pistol, but he didn't feel it was too strange. But now so many ferrymen attacked together, the scene was really shocking. Compared to Lin Kaiyun, who was watching on the side, it was obvious that the ninja of the underworld was not unfamiliar with the attack methods of these ferrymen. The charging Nipatao and Meimin pulled out the soul-catching chain with both hands, opened the bowl left and right, and danced vigorously, like a blender, rolling the net rope together to avoid being bound. The ninja behind him tightly grasped the blade of the soul-catching chain and smashed it against the iron plate on the ground, blocking the emitted electric current with his flesh, allowing the ninja behind him to rush over. Kill him! Nipatao's feet shook violently, and the white flag in his hand stabbed out, and the cold wind swept, smashing the ferryman in front. The ninja's soul-catching chain was full of ghost energy, killing and injuring the ferryman. The ferrymen under Zhao Li were no pushovers either. They used fists and kicks to distance themselves, and the spiritual bullets, as long as they hit, could cause damage. For a moment, chains and bullets flew across the sky, and the ghost messengers from the underworld and the ferrymen from the underworld fought each other. Some blind ghost messengers rushed towards Zhao Li. Bang! Zhao Li raised his hand and fired a gun, smashing the heads of these ghost messengers like blasting watermelons. Zhao Li, don't use your power to pressure others. Shi Wenai had originally been very high profile, looking like he was supervising a battle, but he didn't expect that Zhao Li would not hesitate to attack directly, so he couldn't stand it anymore. His hands were emitting plague, and he grabbed Zhao Li as if he was pointing an arm. Zhao Li was already very familiar with the plague power of the plague ghost Shi Wenai. He didn't dodge or avoid, and fired continuously. The spiritual bullets exploded in the air, and the airwaves generated blew away the plague power. Then Zhao Li ordered the white-robed man behind him, Shi Zhen, take the Shi family and detain all the souls. The middle-aged white-robed man was Shi Zhen mentioned by Zhao Li. He nodded, no problem, leave it to us. Lin Kaiyun reacted instantly, Shi Zhen? Shi family? Could it be the Shi family of the master uncle Shi Jian that master mentioned? In addition to being Shi Jian's family, the Shi family is also a family that exorcises demons and chases ghosts. Their specialty is the power of the 10,000 sky stars. Sure enough, when Lin Kaiyun was thinking, Shi Zhen stretched out his hand. And the Shi family took out a white cloth bag with stars printed on it and handed it to Shi Zhen. Good guy, it's really the Shi family, how come they are mixed up with the ferryman? When Lin Kaiyun saw the star mark on the cloth bag, he was very sure of his guess. Although he didn't know why the Shi family was with the ferryman, he couldn't watch the Shi family take away the souls at this time. Lin Kaiyun drew his bow with both hands and used the magic bow Blood King. The blood arrow condensed visibly with the naked eye, and the bloody smell filled the surrounding area. Now that Shi Zhen was unprepared, this arrow could basically kill him with one shot. At this moment, Shi Wenai remembered Wu Shifei, the soul-catching Simon, who had told him that there was a man who was in the same group with him. He searched around and found that Lin Kaiyun basically met Wu Shifei's description. He shouted loudly, little brother, are you Wu Simon's man? I can't spare my hands to deal with those lackeys of the Shi family now, and you can take action now. Yes, use the small arrow in your hand, puff. Lin Kaiyun almost vomited blood when he heard what Shi Wenai said. I'm about to make a sneak attack. Are you messing with me? Chapter 107 Really, can't you be a little gentler? Shi Wenai's words made everyone pay attention to Lin Kaiyun's direction, which caught Lin Kaiyun, who was originally preparing for a sneak attack, off guard. Shi Wenai did not forget to add fuel to the fire, urging and shouting, little brother, shoot quickly, shoot the man with the cloth bag. Shi Zhen led the Shi family to detain these ghosts. After hearing Shi Wenai's words, he instantly became alert, pinching the starlight in his hands to prevent Lin Kaiyun's attack. Damn. Wait until I go to the soul-catching division and I will definitely report you. Lin Kaiyun spat unhappily, and his hands kept moving. Even if he was discovered, the arrow was on the string and had to be shot. Whoosh! The 7-inch blood arrow, hanging in Lin Kaiyun's hand, was shot out with a bloody wind, like a meteor, breaking through the night sky, passing through the barrier, and flying towards Shi Zhen's body. So fast, there were dots of starlight on Shi Zhen's palm. He wanted to resist but had no time to react. He could only roll subconsciously. Even so, the blood arrow pierced his right arm, and blood fell to the ground. Shi Zhen got up in a panic, dragging his almost crippled right arm, and shouted, set up the star formation. Suddenly, several people from the Shi family took off their clothes, revealing the star marks on their abdomens, and stood around Shi Zhen. Their momentum continued to rise, and they created a small starry sky on the ground. Only the stars could be seen, but no people, completely isolating all the Shi family members from the outside world. Zhao Li saw that the Shi family used the family formation and had no intention of helping to detain the soul. He cursed with hatred, "This Shi Zhen, the older he gets, the less courageous he is." He was so scared by the attack of her junior. Lin Kaiyun was also surprised to see the formation used by the Shi family. This star formation is a kind of space-like technique. Through the star imprint on the body, a man-made starry sky is created and hidden in it. If you want to attack people in the starry sky, you must enter the starry sky. Of course, this artificial starry sky is the territory of the Shi family. If you rush in, it is undoubtedly like breaking into a killing formation. However, this formation cannot be moved, and there is no means of long-range attack, so just ignore it. Lin Kaiyun still has some understanding of the Shi family's methods. After all, it is the family of his master uncle Shi Jian. And Shi Jian is not a good person. In the movie, his master Lin Jiu and Shi Jian also became mortal enemies, so Lin Kaiyun kept a watchful eye and checked a lot of information about the Shi family. The Shi family is the descendant of Taishan Shi Gandang. They have always believed in the Lord of Taishan Mansion, and therefore can extract a unique power of stars from the stars in the sky. When all the Shi family members are born, they will choose a star in the sky as the main star, and the elders will print this star on their abdomen. Of course, the blood and unique skills of the Shi family can indeed absorb the power of the stars, but they cannot establish a connection with the stars. The Shi family's descendants imprinted the mark of the stars on their abdomens, which is also a sign of faith. There are gods 3 feet above your head, and faith is effective. This method has some similarities with Lin Kaiyun's divine mask and the art of summoning gods, and can even evolve stars. This star formation is arranged by evolving stars. But now it's just right. The Shi family hid cautiously. The ferryman in the underworld Yinja fought hard, and Zhao Li was also entangled by the plague ghost Shu Wenai. He just had to act according to the situation and deal with his soul. Lin Kaiyun thought to himself, very satisfied with the current situation. He immediately stretched out his hand in front of Qingqing and shook it. Qingqing was so excited when she saw the fight below that she clenched her hands excitedly. Suddenly, Lin Kaiyun stretched out his hand. She raised her eyebrows and asked, "What are you doing?" Lin Kaiyun was speechless and growled, "What are you doing?" "Replenish my blood. I just shot an arrow." Oh, Qingqing reacted and nodded innocently. Then she stared at Lin Kaiyun in confusion, tapped the back of Lin Kaiyun's hand, and reminded him in a low voice, "Brother Lin, replenishing blood, you bit me. You don't have to stretch your hand over, Qingqing, you are too fascinated by what you are watching. I stretched out my hand to remind you. Otherwise, I might bite your arm suddenly and I'm afraid you will be scared." After Lin Kaiyun explained, he didn't hesitate to grab Qingqing's hand, rolled up his sleeves, and bit the snow-white arm like green onions. Hiss. Qingqing moaned in pain and cursed, "Lin Kaiyun, can't you let me prepare? It's too late, the battle situation is tense, it will be troublesome if I miss the opportunity." Lin Kaiyun swallowed the blood with a milky fragrance, and the blood and qi in his body quickly recovered. He turned his head and continued to observe the situation. "Really, can't you be gentler?" Qingqing bit her lip and rubbed her arm unsatisfied. Lin Kaiyun secretly glanced at Qingqing and felt a little strange in his heart. What happened to him? There was no strange feeling when sucking blood, and there seemed to be a beast in his body. Could it be because of the frequent use of the demon bow Blood King? Lin Kaiyun shook his head and threw away all distracting thoughts. Now his magic power is slowly recovering. He only needs to find an opportunity to use thunder magic to destroy most of the souls. Now, in the enchantment, the ghost messengers and the ferryman were fighting fiercely. It seemed that they only had eyes for each other and didn't care about other people at all. Even Lin Kaiyun, who attacked the Shi family, was not retaliated. Yu Qilao was the same. She stood vigilantly beside the purple jade coffin and watched everything coldly. The souls brought by Su Liu were already in her hands. She was brutally pressed into the 9 streams, but now she didn't dare to cast a spell to melt these souls. If she didn't handle it properly, it was possible that these ghost messengers and ferrymen would turn their guns against her, which was not what Yu Qilao wanted to see. Zhao Li dodged Shi Wenai's attack and cursed at the artificial starry sky. "Shi Zhen, quickly detain the soul. A young boy scared you like this? If my master Acha blames you, your Shi family can't protect you." Shi Zhen was hiding in the starry sky. He had bandaged the injury on his arm, but his right arm was still unable to move. The bones and tendons were pierced by the arrow. Because of this, Shi Zhen was amazed at the power of the blood arrows and arranged the Xingxiu formation so carefully. However, Zhao Li had already said so at this time, and Shi Zhen had no choice but to order the Shi family. Every time one person goes out, and the soul is detained, run back to the formation immediately, and repeat in sequence. Yes, the Shi family followed Shi Zhen's arrangement, went out one person, ran out of the Xingxiu formation quickly, found one of the nearest 9 streams, and raised the cloth bag to detain the soul. Good job, you dare to come out. Lin Kaiyun saw that someone from the Shi family came out, and directly drew his bow and shot an arrow. Whoosh! The blood arrow shot out rapidly and pierced the body of the Shi family. With a plop, the Shi family who detained the soul fell to the ground with a bang, and there was no reaction before death, and they died with their eyes open. The 5th level Shi Zhen was still defeated, and these 3rd level and lower Shi family members basically killed one with one arrow. Lin Kaiyun's blood arrow is very powerful, and the only weakness is that it consumes blood and ki, and can only be used 3 times, but now with Kinking, this power bank, it is simply unsolvable. Chapter 108 A Delicate Balance. Lin Kaiyun seemed to be a sniper at this time, standing majestically on the boulder. Every time a member of the Shi family came out, he would be shot dead by the blood arrow. After several people in a row, Shi Zhen couldn't stand this loss and shouted in the formation, "Everyone, don't go out." Now the people on the entire hillside were in a delicate balance. The Yin Che and the ferryman were targeting each other, Lin Kaiyun and the Shi family were on guard against each other. Yu Qiluo didn't dare to act rashly. Zhuangke solved the paper giant and attacked the barrier madly. Prince Zachin and Yan'an's group could only stare blankly from a distance, real marginal characters. Lin Kaiyun locked his eyes on Yu Qiluo. Now his only worry was Yu Qiluo. This witch would never sit and watch him destroy these souls. Got it, Lin Kaiyun suddenly thought of an idea that could restrict Yu Qiluo, that is, open the door and release Zhuangke. He turned around and bit Kinking again, replenished his blood and energy, and shot 3 arrows directly at the zombie king Zhuangke. Zhuangke felt a breath of the blood arrow, but it did not react at all. Now Zhuangke had only one belief, which was to break the barrier and snatch away Hanba's body. Swoosh! 3 blood arrows were close to Zhuangke's ears, and the whistling wind scraped 3 blood marks on Zhuangke's shriveled face. Boom! Bang! The blood arrows hit the barrier directly and broke through it easily. At this time, Zhuangke felt a hole in the barrier in front of him, raised his claws, and inserted them into the gap. Sizzle! The red liquid in the barrier began to flow, constantly repairing, burning Zhuangke's claws that were stretched in, and a lot of white smoke came out. Roar! Zhuangke roared, and the tumor on his shoulder continued to expand. His head hit his shoulder and Zhuangke squeezed half of his body in frantically. The barrier continued to attack Zhuangke, and his blue and shriveled skin seemed to be burned by flames, which was even more disgusting. However, Zhuangke didn't feel any pain at all, and he squeezed in. Even Yu Qiluo's barrier couldn't stop him. Roar! Zhuangke howled excitedly, kicked his feet, jumped up directly, and fell towards the purple jade coffin. Yu Qiluo's face sank, raised her hands, and a large amount of red light gushed out from her palms, merging and interweaving in the air, and she shouted, "Paper people are the medium, connecting yin and yang, distinguishing the 8 wastelands, without east, west, south, or north. Go, buzz!" There was a high-frequency vibration in the sky above Yu Qiluo, and a large amount of red energy burst continuously. In an instant, it dispersed into blood spots that filled the entire sky. All the blood spots turned into vivid little paper people, a full hundreds of them. Yu Qiluo felt the aggressive Zhuangke, raised her beautiful legs and took a few steps on the ground, and put her middle finger on her temple, and her blood suddenly burned. The world is unpredictable. I recommend yin and yang with my blood. There is no east, no west, no south, no north. Suddenly, Yu Qiluo's blood gushed out, and gradually solidified, turning from red to black. Burn for me. Bloody lines appeared on both sides of her cheeks, and even her black hair could not cover it, spreading directly to her nose, and even her neck had a blood-red mark. She raised her head and showed an innocent smile. In an instant, hundreds of paper people in the air burned up, lonely ghosts, adaptable, all kinds of evil demons, 4 bloods are all broken 10,000 evil whip chain. The red energy in her hands turned into 2 whips, flickering with a faint light, but this light always felt frightening. Yu Kilo kicked the ground with her jade feet, jumped onto the paper man, and controlled hundreds of paper men to rush out. If she doesn't attack, she will kill him. Yu Kilo didn't hold back at all. She attacked with thunderous force. She would never allow the zombie King Zhengying to interfere with her plan. Hundreds of burning paper figures followed Yu Kilo and rushed up. The blood-colored aura burning on the paper figures was so frightening that even Zhao Li and Shi Wen'ai looked at them sideways. Everyone could feel the powerful energy contained in it. Yu Kilo smiled. She thrust the Wangxi whip chain in her hand fiercely. Her hair fluttered and she emitted continuous energy all over her body, which hit Zhengying. Zhengying spit out a lot of corpse gas and collided with Yu Kilo's attack. The vibration of the collision made the whole earth slope shake. Wow, this demon girl Yu Kilo is really awesome. She fought back and forth with a zombie King Zhengying of level 8, Fu Shi. Lin Kaiyun was amazed and couldn't help but admire it. Fortunately, he didn't go down blindly just now, otherwise Yu Kilo would be really hard to deal with. Lin Kaiyun stood up and shook off the dust on his body, and said calmly, King, let's go. It's our turn, let's go down. King was stunned for a moment, with a puzzled look on her face. We go down? Lin Kaiyun nodded. Of course, it's a mess down there, it's time for me to benefit, first kill these souls, and then deal with Yu Kilo. The thing that the poisonous insect in your body is looking for is probably with Yu Kilo. Brother Lin, are you sure I want to go down too? I'm afraid I'll become a burden and cause you trouble. King raised her head and looked at Lin Kaiyun sincerely. There was sincerity in her expression and resentment in her words. She could still help with Yan'an before, but now with the situation down there, she's afraid she can only make things worse. Haha, Lin Kaiyun couldn't help laughing when he saw King's look. He asked, King, don't belittle yourself. Is the poisonous insect in your body tired? Is there any damage? No, King shook her head. She was not injured. She was even very curious and excited to watch the fun. That's no problem, King. You are very useful now. You must be within 1 meter of me. Be ready to recharge at any time. Lin Kaiyun took King's hand and jumped down. He didn't have the slightest intention of keeping a low profile. He walked straight to the breakthrough point. Following the place that Zhengying had destroyed before, Lin Kaiyun put his hands behind his back and walked into the barrier with square steps, as if he was inspecting a leader. No one could fail to notice Lin Kaiyun's way of entering. Little brother, hurry up. The matter of souls is left to you. I will be responsible for dealing with these ferrymen. Shi Wen'ai shouted to Lin Kaiyun, then raised his hand and a dark green plague force swept up several ferrymen around him. Thousands of ants gnawed at their bones, and in the blink of an eye, they all turned into ashes. Hearing this, Lin Kaiyun's face suddenly turned black. He couldn't help it and cursed, Plague Ghost. Shi Wen'ai, right? You can't wait to tell everyone my purpose, right? Shi Wen'ai didn't think there was a problem at all, and said with his chest puffed out, a real man doesn't care about trivial matters. Today, we in the underworld are going to force our way in front of these ferrymen in the underworld and let them see how powerful we are. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109 The Heavenly Master has been selected by me. It was hard for Zhao Li not to notice Lin Kaiyun. He looked him up and down and suddenly sneered, Boy, 2 days ago, you crippled one of my ferrymen and asked him to bring a message. You were the one, right? After hearing what Zhao Li said, Lin Kaiyun reacted. He glanced at Zhao Li with murderous intent and said disdainfully, So you are the boss of that blind guy. I've been waiting for you to come and seek revenge on me. But you didn't come? Zhao Li, this doesn't fit your character. Character? What are you talking about? Zhao Li didn't hear what Lin Kaiyun meant, but this kid made Su Sichuan's words very unpleasant. He didn't mind getting rid of this unreasonable kid right now. Zhao Li raised the gun in his hand, pointed the black muzzle at Lin Kaiyun, and opened fire without warning. The purpose of Zhao Li's attack was to kill and injure. The spiritual bullets rubbed against the flames and were very powerful. Lin Kaiyun didn't expect Zhao Li to be so decisive. Logically, shouldn't they say a lot of harsh words to each other before taking action? At this time, Lin Kaiyun's mana had not recovered much. It was okay to kill a lonely ghost, but it was still very difficult to resist Zhao Li's attack. He grabbed King's hand and dodged quickly, then shouted at Shi Wenai, "Damn, Shi Wenai, stop him quickly, I can't stop this attack." Shi Wenai was unmoved, with a smug look on his face, and said arrogantly, "Boy, I am the plague ghost Shi Wenai, one of the famous 5 ghosts, and you actually ordered me." Shi Wenai, this guy, likes to put on airs, be proud of himself, pay attention to his image, and pause all the time. So Shi Wenai felt very uncomfortable with Lin Kaiyun's commanding tone. Seeing Shi Wenai with his hands behind his back, Lin Kaiyun was furious. He cursed inwardly, threw a token from his sleeve and threw it at Shi Wenai's feet. "Shi Wenai, I'm Sikken of the soul-catching department." Shi Wenai stepped on Sikken's token and said disdainfully, "Sikken? Haha, just a small official. I can't even count the number of Sikkens of the 8 departments of the underworld I have killed with one hand." Lin Kaiyun pointed into the air and put the magic talisman on himself and King. He ran and cursed, "Damn it, you are so stubborn." Shi Wenai looked very arrogant. He pretended to be domineering and shouted, "Boy, since you are from the soul-catching department, I won't kill you, but you have to solve your own task. Wu Shifai only asked me to deal with these ferrymen in the underworld. I don't care about the rest." Lin Kaiyun barely blocked a bullet from Zhao Li, but Zhao Li's subsequent attacks were really powerless. He was not polite at all and cursed directly, "Finish your mother's head, boy, do you want to die?" Shi Wenai was a little unhappy when he heard this. This was his time to show off, but this kid named Lin Kaiyun didn't give him any face. He raised his hand and the green plague power quickly condensed. He was determined to teach Lin Kaiyun a lesson. Seeing that Shi Wenai was going to fight him, Lin Kaiyun suddenly had an idea and shouted with full momentum, "Shi Wenai, Wu Shifai is my great-uncle. I am the leader of the younger generation of Maoshan. The next generation of Maoshan Xianxi has been selected by me. How dare you fight me, the leader of the younger generation of Maoshan? The Maoshan Xianxi has been selected?" Everyone present was shocked by Lin Kaiyun's words. Maoshan is definitely one of the top sects in the world, and it is admired by the world for catching monsters and exorcising ghosts. Of course, this is just a secular perspective. In Shi Wenai's eyes, many people in the 8 divisions of the underworld are from Maoshan. It can be said that the number of Maoshan in the underworld is very large, and it is simply a re-employment base for Maoshan disciples who have reached the end of their lifespan. Zhao Li also knew this situation, so now he was more determined to kill Lin Kaiyun. "Boy, it seems that I can't let you go," Zhao Li shouted fiercely. The spiritual power of the gun muzzle surged, and bullets were fired continuously, trying to kill Lin Kaiyun directly. Lin Kaiyun's fingertips flashed with lightning, and he shot out to block the speed of the bullet. Then he patted King's shoulder and reminded her, "King, take me with you, fly quickly." Oh, King didn't dare to delay, and hurriedly urged the poisonous insect in her body, spread her wings, and flew away quickly. In the air, King asked curiously, "Brother Lin, do you have so many identities? Why don't I know?" Ahem. Lin Kaiyun coughed lightly, turned his head and looked at the sky, and said naively, "Keep a low profile, keep a low profile." The bullet hit by lightning suddenly dropped in speed, and then was entangled by green energy and exploded. "Zhao Li, can you just touch my people?" Shi Wenai kept his hands in a claw shape, trying to make himself look powerful. Zhao Li knew the weakness of his old rival, and he directly pointed it out. "Shi Wenai, aren't you just a little scared after hearing about that kid's background?" "Bullshit. I am a plague ghost, one of the 5 ghosts, how can I be that kind of person?" Shi Wenai's face turned red when Zhao Li exposed his little thoughts. He stomped his feet hard, jumped up, and attacked Zhao Li. Lin Kaiyun saw Shi Wenai and Zhao Li fighting together, and knew that no one could disturb him now. He pointed to the front and commanded King, fly to the center of the 9 streams. King dragged Lin Kaiyun to the top of the 9 streams. Now all the souls were suppressed in the streams by Yu Kilo. These 9 streams were originally formed by the gathering of Yin Qi. Now these ghosts are in the Yin Qi and have become extremely irritable and keep running around. No, these souls are very unstable now. My Yang Wulei can no longer easily eliminate them. Seeing the changes in these ghosts, Lin Kaiyun felt a little impatient. He didn't know what Yu Kilo's purpose was in dealing with these souls, nor did he know what the difference was between these souls. However, if these souls stay in the huge Yin Qi for a long time, they will probably become evil ghosts with heavy resentment. Lin Kaiyun didn't care about 3 or 5 evil ghosts, but there were tens of thousands of souls below. If they all turned into evil ghosts, let alone him, even if all the people of Maotian went down the mountain, they would not be able to suppress them. Kinking, let me go. Lin Kaiyun made up his mind and thought of a feasible solution. Kinking threw Lin Kaiyun down directly according to what Lin Kaiyun said, but she used a little force in the process of throwing him. Kinking, you are using your public power to take revenge on your private interests, Lin Kaiyun complained, and in the air, he stepped on the back of his right foot with his left toe, repeatedly, and landed steadily in the center of the 9 streams, directly opposite the purple jade coffin. Yu Qilou noticed Lin Kaiyun's movements at this time, but she could not pay attention to Xuan Kui's attack in front of her. Chapter 110, Fighting at Maotian, the Yang Soul emerges. Lin Kaiyun touched his storage belt and took out the 7-star Dragon Abyss sword from it. I didn't bring my dagger, old friend, I'm counting on you. Lin Kaiyun held up the 7-star Dragon Abyss sword vertically, looking from bottom to top, and the moonlight flashed above the scabbard. Ha! He shouted, brushed off the scabbard, and the sword came out of the scabbard, with a compelling aura. Lin Kaiyun backhanded the 7-star Dragon Abyss sword into the ground under his feet, stepped out, and fiercely inserted the 7-star Dragon Abyss sword. He circled the 7-star Dragon Abyss sword, raised his left foot, and took 1 step at a time, 1 forward and 1 backward, 1 yin and 1 yang, synchronized at the beginning and the end, and his right foot was horizontal and straight to form a T-step, and he spoke confidently, using the extreme yang to govern the extreme yin. Both have the power of entering the earth. When the yin is strong, the yang will decline, but when the yang is strong, it will be placed in the underworld and cannot be reborn. With each word, Lin Kaiyun's steps exuded a yang energy that was inconsistent with the night, which was particularly special in this place where the yin was strong. Lin Kaiyun closed his eyes and concentrated, spread his hands, pinched the hand seal, bent the ring finger, hooked the middle finger, pinched the middle section of the ring finger with the tip of the thumb, and pressed the index finger and middle finger on the thumb. Yan Ian, who was watching the battle from a distance, could clearly see the spells on Lin Kaiyun's hand and could not help muttering, "It's actually a Maotian fight." It seems that Lin Kaiyun is really the leader of the younger generation of Maotian. Before, when Lin Kaiyun said that he was a leader and a designated heavenly master, Yan Ian did not believe it completely or not, but now after seeing the hand gestures Lin Kaiyun performed, she believed it most of the time. The people in their organization have been paying close attention to the sects of cultivators. In addition to the large sects that have been sealed off, Maotian is also a focus of attention. Since the establishment of the 3 Mao's Henjins in the Eastern Han Dynasty, Maotian has been passed down for thousands of years. The Taoism is profound and the inheritance is quite complicated, but the hand gestures of its spells have always been the core. There has been a saying in the world that if you add it every month, you will see Pajin from time to time. The one before Pajin swears not to pass it on. Since its establishment, the Maotian hand gestures have always been passed down orally and have never been recorded in various written forms. Lin Kaiyun was taught the hand gestures at such a young age, and his status in Maotian is definitely not low. Of course, Lin Kaiyun didn't know what outsiders were thinking. He was concentrating on it and didn't dare to relax at all. He didn't even dare to wipe the sweat off his cheeks. Lin Jiu taught him the core hand seal. Apart from practicing, this was the first time he used it. He must not be careless. He stepped on the Beidao Kigen and held the carved mother coin in his mouth. His voice was like thunder. The 13th generation descendant of Maotian, Lin Kaiyun vowed to be the Yang God today, and to report to the heavens. I will use this small space as the 9th heaven, and step on the image of the Daosu Kigen to suppress all evil. Beidao Yang God, Lin Kaiyun held the Dao seal and quickly tapped on his 7 meridians, allowing his vigorous Yang Qi to flow out quickly. Blood spit out from the tip of his tongue and stuck to the carved mother coin in his mouth. It trembled and flashed with a yellowish-brown halo. Huh? The airflow around Lin Kaiyun was turned upside down, and a large amount of yin qi flowed into his body along the square hole in the center of the carved mother coin. Yin and yang collided, and the yang soul left the body. Lin Kaiyun's body was like a sculpture, his feet firmly embedded in the ground, and a soul with extremely strong yang energy floated out from the top of his skull. In an instant, the yang energy was so strong that in the first few minutes, it even covered the huge yin energy. It is not too difficult for a cultivator who is not specialized in soul cultivation to have a soul leaving the body, but Lin Kaiyun's current state is not a simple soul leaving the body. Soul leaving the body is the soul leaving the body, And Lin Kaiyun's yang soul, in simple terms, is a soul that has left the body, carrying several times its own yang energy, and just standing there can scare away ghosts and evil spirits. In the world, only the Quanzhen lineage of Taoism can easily do this. The Quanzhen lineage cultivates both sex and life, and the yang spirit is their specialty. The 5 internal organs stabilize the body, the 3 souls and 7 spirits determine the shape and spirit, heaven and man are united, and heaven and man exist, yin and yang are interdependent. The masters of the Quanzhen lineage can even send the yang spirit out for 100 miles, use the soul to cast spells, and defeat the enemy for 100 miles. For the Maotian lineage, it takes a lot of effort to produce a yang god, and it may even be against one's will. Of course, Lin Kaiyun had no time to consider these things at this time. His yang soul gently stepped on the 7-star dragon abyss sword, and the yang qi flowed into the stream along the hilt of the sword. He shouted loudly, "Those who defy me will die, dare to charge. I will stab the underworld with my true yang. Hurry up and obey the command." Boom. Like a flood, yang qi continuously flowed out of Lin Kaiyun's yang soul and poured into the 9 streams. Suddenly, the ghosts that were running wildly, like sharp needles piercing their bones, let out a heart-piercing howl. "Damn it!" Yu Qilou cursed tenderly, controlled the paper man to entangle Zhuan Kui, and flew towards Lin Kaiyun, with red energy rolling in her palm, ready to interfere with Lin Kaiyun. Before Lin Kaiyun could react, a person solved the problem for Lin Kaiyun. The zombie king Zhuan Kui was not something that a little paper man could hold back. His sharp claws, wrapped in corpse key, blasted a large number of paper men into ashes. Then Zhuan Kui rushed straight to the purple jade coffin under him. Yu Qilou stopped and hesitated for a moment, not knowing whether to stop Zhuan Kui or Lin Kaiyun. But Zhuan Kui would not give Yu Qilou time to consider, and his sharp claws smashed directly on the purple jade coffin. Bang! The purple jade coffin was very tough, but it could not withstand the attack of the 8th-level zombie king and shattered instantly. Seeing that Zhuan Kui was about to grab the body of Hanba, Zhang Xianzong's soul rushed up without caring about life and death. This is Qilou's thing, no one can take it away. Yu Qilou saw Zhang Xianzong's action, turned around quickly, and shouted, "Zhang Xianzong, don't," but it was still too slow. Zhuan Kui roared, and the corpse key in his mouth enveloped Zhang Xianzong's ghost. In less than a second, Zhang Xianzong's ghost was devoured. "No!" Yu Qilou screamed in pain, the bloodlines on her face became deeper and deeper. She kept urging her own speed, and did not care about using her skills, and crashed into Zhuan Kui's back. Boom! Bang! Zhuan Kui's body was harder than steel, but the furious Yu Qilou did not care about being injured at all. With a red light flashing, she desperately knocked Zhuan Kui out. "Zhang Xianzong, Zhang Xianzong!" Yu Qilou was beside the purple jade coffin, grabbing with both hands, but Zhang Xianzong had already turned to ashes, and was killed by Zhuan Kui's corpse. He could not enter the cycle of reincarnation, and no matter what means Yu Qilou used, she was powerless to save the situation. "Zhuan Kui, I will kill you." Yu Qilou's hair flew up, bloodlines covered her entire pretty face, and densely packed paper figures appeared in the sky. Chapter 111, The Heavenly Plague Road and the Earthly Plague Gate. Yu Qilou was furious at this time, burning all her blood and energy, and rushed towards the zombie king Zhuangqi. Lin Kaiyun chose to use the Yang Soul just now because he was gambling. If he was attacked by Yu Qilou when he used the Yang Soul, he would be disabled if not dead. But now the gamble is right. Since Zhang Xianzong was killed by Zhuangqi, Yu Qilou will definitely not pay attention to him now. Lin Kaiyun continued to pour the Yang Qi back into the 9 streams, and the power of ghosts and Yin Qi was constantly suppressed. This formation is very effective in suppressing ghosts, but it is a double-edged sword. If the Yang Qi is not as good as the Yin, the caster will die, and if the Yin is not as good as the Yang, the wronged will be sent to the underworld and will never be reborn. There are many ghosts, but they are basically ordinary lonely ghosts. Even if they are nourished by the Yin Qi for a while, they have not formed too strong power, so Lin Kaiyun used the Yang Soul to pour back the Yang Qi against the sky, which was enough to deal with it. The ghosts running around in the 9 streams gradually stopped, as if they had lost their spirits, leaving only a wisp of soul energy, which could disappear at any time. Zhao Li also felt the strangeness of these souls, and his face changed immediately. He shook his coat, and a spiritual power turned into a knife, slashing at Shi Wen'er who was entangled with him. Taking the opportunity to extract space, He fired at Lin Kaiyun's yang soul one after another. Swish! The wind around Zhao Li was distorted, and Shi Wenai's body turned into dark green fine sand, rotating to avoid a spiritual blade, and quickly wrapped Zhao Li's bullets attacking Lin Kaiyun. At the same time, several rotten arms suddenly emerged from under Zhao Li's feet and grabbed Zhao Li's legs fiercely. Sizzle! The corrosive green gas continued to emerge, and these rotten arms were all condensed by the plague. The pair of boots on Zhao Li's feet, which he liked very much, were corroded and penetrated in an instant. Zhao Li lowered his head and fired a shot. The spiritual bullet exploded with a bang, and the splashing explosion shattered the arm that was holding him. Zhao Li, it's not over yet. Look up, Shi Wenai taunted, and threw the copper bell in his hand directly. Above Zhao Li's head, it spun rapidly, and dark green sand continued to flow out, forming a vortex, completely trapping Zhao Li in it. Zhao Li fired frantically, and the spiritual bullets were swallowed up when they touched the sand, and could not break Shi Wenai's restriction at all. Ha ha ha! Shi Wenai laughed excitedly when he saw Zhao Li's embarrassed look. He put his hands behind his back, looking confident of victory. Zhao Li, how dare you be absent-minded in front of me? Zhao Li saw that the spiritual bullets could not break through this plague sand's nest, so he simply stopped wasting energy and snorted, Shi Wenai, do you think you can beat me? Shi Wenai raised his head high, his nostrils facing the sky, and sneered arrogantly, accept your fate. You people who practice in the underworld are not like humans, not like ghosts, and you don't even have any memories. You can't be my opponent. Zhao Li was not going to argue with Shi Wenai, the damn guy. He put the pistol back into his waist and sneered, Shi Wenai, today I will let you see the power of my Lord Acha. Zhao Li knelt on one knee on the ground and prayed devoutly. My Lord Acha, your servant, the ferryman Zhao Li, prays to you here, please give me unmatched power, wake up. My true soul. Every word seemed to carry a mysterious power. The overcoat on his body, which was longer than his knees, fluttered behind him without wind, and there were faint obscure prayer patterns on it. What is this? Shi Wenai was puzzled when he saw Zhao Li's strange behavior. He had fought with Zhao Li before, but he had never seen such a situation. Shi Wenai didn't care what Zhao Li was doing. Anyway, he had taken the lead at this time and was determined to eliminate Zhao Li in one fell swoop. One up the heavenly plague road and two up the earthly plague gate. The great Luo plague is merciless. Strangle! Shi Wenai shouted loudly, his face sullen, raised his hands and clenched them into a ball. Suddenly, the plague sand pit that besieged Zhao Li stretched out the spikes containing the highly toxic plague, which kept tightening, trying to strangle Zhao Li to this point. However, Zhao Li did not dodge or evade, and was not moved at all. Puff! The plague sand pit quickly closed, and Zhao Li's figure was also strangled in it, and a clear sound of piercing flesh and blood was heard. My lord Zhao Li! Many of Zhao Li's men saw this scene and shouted anxiously. You bunch of rubbish ferrymen, today is your burial place. Go and accompany your lord. The ox-headed and horse-faced demons, one after the other, launched a fatal attack on these dazed ferrymen. For a moment, the evenly matched situation suddenly collapsed. The unknown life and death of Zhao Li caused the combat effectiveness of these ferrymen in the underworld to drop sharply, and the casualties continued to increase. Seeing that these ferrymen following Zhao Li were about to collapse, a tremor suddenly came. Clang clang clang. This sound was like the wail of a weapon. Bang! The plague sand pit that had been strangled and shrunk into a pillar quickly collapsed. The sand that even the spiritual bullets could not destroy instantly fell into pieces and scattered all over the ground. The dust of the sand was floating, and one could vaguely see a heroic figure in the sand, wearing a white helmet, white armor, riding a white horse, holding a spear and standing proudly, with an extraordinary figure. I am Zhao Zilin of Changshan. This huge figure, riding a horse in the air, roared to the sky. In the middle of the 9 streams, Lin Kaiyun was concentrating on controlling his yang energy and crushing the ghosts in the stream. He ignored the fight between Shi Wenai and Zhao Li. But this extraordinary shout woke Lin Kaiyun up instantly. What? Zhao Zilin! Lin Kaiyun couldn't believe his ears and quickly locked his eyes on the huge figure. At this time, the sand and dust had gradually dissipated, and this huge figure also appeared in front of everyone's vision, with silver armor and a long spear, and he was the bravest of the 3 armies. Although Lin Kaiyun didn't know what Zhao Yun looked like, the huge figure in front of him was very consistent with the historical description of Zhao Yun. Combined with the previous shouts, it was probably 9 out of 10. Tap tap tap. At this time, Zhao Li walked out around the huge figure, looked at Shi Wen'ai coldly, and said with a smile, Shi Wen'ai, I told you not to speak too confidently, be careful not to fan your tongue. Shi Wen'ai's expression at this time was a little funny, his eyes widened. And he looked puzzled. What kind of monster is this? Monster? Ha ha ha, Zhao Li laughed. The reincarnation of the underworld is already out of date. Only we in the underworld can unleash the power of the dead. He nodded to the huge figure of Zhao Yun. Go. My martial spirit, let them see your power. Yes, sir. Zhao Yun spurred his horse and raised his spear, and rushed forward. Chapter 112 I have a system, I am proud. Zhao Yun thrust his spear forward, stirring up a whistling wind. He supported himself on the horse's back and jumped up. The huge spearhead was aimed at Shi Wen'ai. Then the white horse behind him instantly turned into a shadow and merged into the spearhead. Shi Wen'ai, try Zhao Yun's martial arts skills. White horse silver spear, Zhao Li shouted with some pride. His hands did not stop, and he raised his gun and fired. What is this? Is it the Dharma image of Zhao Li? But how come this Dharma image and Zhao Li himself are two individuals? Shi Wen'ai quickly turned himself into a plague and escaped. He was puzzled and could not figure it out. Dharma image is a magical power. Both ghosts and cultivators in the world can practice it. It is a transformation of the rules of the practice. It can be enlarged or reduced by dozens of times. In short, it is all for the purpose of improving combat power. However, there are only two types of Dharma images. One is the transformation of one's own body, and the other is manipulation. It is unheard of for someone like Zhao Li to be able to attack with both the Dharma image and himself. Shi Wen'ai didn't understand, but now someone guessed something. That was Lin Kaiyun. He was very surprised when he saw Zhao Yun and Zhao Li attacking Shi Wen'ai, and even slowed down the speed of the backflow of Yang Qi. Why do I look like the guardian spirit in Fenghou Street, Underworld, Acha, guardian spirit, Zhao Li? No way. The more Lin Kaiyun thought about it, the more frightened he became. The appearance of Zhao Yun and Zhao Li reminded him of an anime he had watched in his previous life, Fenghou Street. There is also the underworld there, and the ones who govern the souls of the dead are called Fenghou generals. Their characteristic is that they can awaken guardian spirits, which are usually their ancestors, or generals, gods, etc. who are related to their ancestors. However, these are obviously not related to Zhao Li and Acha, but Zhao Yun who appeared now is obviously something similar to a guardian spirit. What kind of existence is this underworld? What kind of hatred or even relationship is there between the underworld and the underworld? Why are there two places to house souls in one world? These things are like a mess, circling Lin Kaiyun's mind. Before, Wu Shifi asked him to eliminate a group of soul fluctuations, and he also guessed and doubted in his heart. But along the way, he was not in Lin Jiu's zombie world. Yu Kilo, Zhao Li, and even the guardian spirits appeared one after another, which made Lin Kaiyun feel very heavy in his heart. Before, he thought it was Lin Jiu's zombie world, without gods and demons, and nothing too abnormal. At the same time, he also awakened the system. Relying on the system, he could at least become the strongest person in the world, not to mention founding a sect and unifying the world. But now Lin Kaiyun is unsure in his heart. To be precise, he even lacks a sense of security. God knows what else will happen in this world. Now even if Tathagata Buddha appears in front of Lin Kaiyun and chants scriptures, he will not be surprised. No, now that things have come to this, I'd better get rid of these souls quickly. If these souls are abnormal, then I can still gain a batch of merit points. The world is dangerous, and I must accumulate more capital now. Lin Kaiyun threw away the anxious thoughts in his mind. And now he was thinking about the system and merit points. He did not shy away from the idea that he relied on the system. He could have the current combat power and martial arts adventures because of the system. Lin Kaiyun was thick-skinned. He was not like those people in novels who started to dislike the system after they became strong, or even sneered at it, and acted both right and wrong. On the contrary, he was now thinking about how to squeeze the system and give full play to the advantages of the system more reasonably and efficiently. Anyway, this system is his biggest plug-in. As long as it can bring help, he would reject the system. I will use my true yang. Hurry up and obey the order. Lin Kaiyun used all his strength to activate his yang soul, and the yang energy burst out, reaching the peak in an instant. The souls in the 9 streams could no longer resist and turned into ashes. Zhao Li glared at Lin Kaiyun angrily and shouted, "Damn it, kill the kid." Yes, the ferryman who had collapsed before, after seeing Zhao Li appear and chasing after Shi Wenai, became more powerful. Despite the disadvantage in numbers, they actually resisted the attack of the underworld's Yin messenger and had a faint momentum of counterattack. Now after hearing Zhao Li's order, these ferrymen rushed forward without hesitation, got rid of the Yin messenger, and rushed towards Lin Kaiyun's Yang soul. Bull-headed and horse-faced, take people to stop these bastards. Shi Wenai also responded quickly, and at the same time used the Qin King's pillar to circle around the huge Zhao Yun, and relied on his ability to turn into plague to harass Zhao Li from time to time. The bull-headed and horse-faced brought the underworld's Yin messenger to chase and intercept, in short, to prevent these ferrymen from getting close to Lin Kaiyun. But the weapons of these ferrymen all have the ability to attack from a distance. The bull-headed and horse-faced frog can block people, but the spiritual bullets cannot be blocked completely. During this period, there were still many attacks that hit Lin Kaiyun. Fortunately, these bullets did not hit Lin Kaiyun's vital points, but after the Yang soul burst out all the Yang Qi, it was also a little sluggish. In addition, it was attacked, and the whole soul became unstable. Brother Lin, King worried anxiously. She couldn't help at this time, and she was very regretful in her heart. At this time, Lin Kaiyun's Yang soul moved and jumped off the 7-star dragon abyss sword. He shouted weakly, King, hurry up, pull out the carved mother coin in my mouth. Okay, King heard the words and did not dare to delay. She walked to Lin Kaiyun's physical body, shot out a red line between her fingers, and wrapped it around the carved mother coin. She used up all her strength and quickly pulled out the carved mother coin. When the mother eagle blurted out the big money, Lin Kaiyun's body seemed to be deflated, and Yin Qi continued to rush out from the 7 holes. Before, Lin Kaiyun relied on the conflict between Yin and Yang to force out his Yang soul. Now he must release all the Yin Qi to let the Yang soul return to his body. Swish! Yin Qi continued to drill out, like boiling water, and soon the Yin Qi was almost released. At the same time that the Yin Qi dissipated, Lin Kaiyun's Yang soul went through the top of his head and drilled into his body. Huh? It's safe. Lin Kaiyun breathed a sigh of relief, shook his neck, and shook his arms. At this moment, the voice of the system rang in Lin Kaiyun's mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for eliminating the mutant evil soul, and reward 100 points of merit. Ding! Congratulations on the speed of eliminating the mutant evil soul, and reward 100 points of merit. This sound seemed to be stuck in the broadcast, and it kept ringing. For a moment, Lin Kaiyun's scalp was numb. No way. Can't it be that every soul has to be broadcast once? Lin Kaiyun panicked when he thought about the fact that he had destroyed at least 8,000 souls. Chapter 113 Woohoo, take off. Ding! Congratulations to the host for eliminating the mutant evil spirit, and reward 100 merit points. Ding! Congratulations for quickly eliminating the mutant evil spirit, and reward 100 merit points. The system's voice continued to ring in Lin Kaiyun's mind. This continuous sound like a stuck disc made Lin Kaiyun's head split. Lin Kaiyun's consciousness shouted to the system, System, add up all the merit points you have obtained, and report a total. As soon as the voice fell, the system decisively stopped the frequent broadcasts. After a pause of 3 seconds, it rebroadcast a message according to Lin Kaiyun's request. Ding! Congratulations to the host for eliminating the mutant evil spirit, 4,200 merit points, 420,000, oh my god. How much? 420,000 merit points. Lin Kaiyun couldn't believe his ears. He never thought that there would be 420,000 merit points. He was extremely happy. I'm rich. Before, Lin Kaiyun was worried about the tens of thousands of merit points for the lottery or upgrading his cultivation. Now this happiness came too fast. With these 420,000 merit points, wouldn't he take off in an instant? Now Lin Kaiyun just wanted to shout to the sky, woohoo, take off, ha ha ha. Lin Kaiyun couldn't suppress his inner feelings anymore and laughed without any prospects. Just when Lin Kaiyun was excited, the voice of the system in his mind rang again. Ding! The host has eliminated ordinary souls, deducting 100 merit points. Ding! The host has eliminated ordinary souls, deducting 100 merit points. Ding! The host has eliminated ordinary souls, deducting 100 merit points. The system repeated it continuously, like a basin of cold water poured on Lin Kaiyun's head. System, stop. The deducted merit points will be counted for you, just report it once. Lin Kaiyun hurriedly stopped the system. He was not too surprised about the deduction of merit points, nor was he too worried. Anyway, he had 420,000 merit points, so he could deduct them at will. Ding. The host has eliminated 3,600 ordinary souls, and a total of 360,000 merit points have been deducted. Puff. After hearing the system's summary, Lin Kaiyun spat out a mouthful of blood. He was so angry and hurt by the ferryman's spiritual bullet. Before that he really spat out a mouthful of blood. Seeing this, Qiqing was immediately anxious. She quickly supported Lin Kaiyun and asked helplessly, "Brother Lin, what's wrong with you? Is it the injury of Yang Hun?" "It's okay, Qiqing, I just feel a little." Lin Kaiyun waved his trembling hands, his voice trembled, and he squeezed out a few words with tears. Uncomfortable. This gap made Lin Kaiyun instantly confused. It felt like he bought a lottery ticket and won the first prize of 5 million, even the car and the house were booked, but he found out that the lottery ticket was fake. If the system was a person, Lin Kaiyun would want to strangle him to death right now. Huh? Don't be angry, no one can replace you when you get angry, and being angry hurts your mind and energy. Think about it, there's no point in doing it. Lin Kaiyun silently recited a long series of mantras in his heart, comforting himself, and slowly calmed down his mood. System, open the panel. Host, Lin Kaiyun, current realm, 4th level, refining the body into ki, merit value. 85,150 points, skills, Yang Wulei, max level. Golden light curse, max level. 7 killing orders of gods and ghosts, killing order, Tongshan Lu, max level. Ghost Shadow Trace, minor success. Godhead Mask, 1/100. Demon Bow, Blood Hades, 7-star Sword Curse, 0/100. Bagua Soft Fist, Treasures, 7-star Dragon Abyss Sword, Growth Form. 24 Bright Moon Night Belt, Storage, Current Identity, Maotian Sex True Disciple, Lin Fengjiao's eldest disciple, a horse riding disciple, the master of the horse riding fairy list, and Sikun of the Underworld's soul-catching division. Merit value required for lottery. 40,000. Merit value required for upgrading. 100,000. Looking at the panel, there were still more than 80,000 merit points, and Lin Kaiyun felt better. Although the hope of getting rich was gone, giving more than 60,000 merit points was not bad. However, Lin Kaiyun did not expect that there were actually many ordinary souls among these souls that were cared for by the underworld, the ferryman, and Yu Kilo, which deducted 360,000 merit points from him. But he was not sentimental. After the ferryman named Su Liu handed them over to Yu Kilo, these souls had to be eliminated. It was only a matter of time before they turned into evil spirits in the 9 streams. If I had known earlier, I would have done it later. When these souls were corroded by the yin qi and turned into evil spirits, wouldn't I have made a fortune? Lin Kaiyun complained, just to vent his anger. In fact, he knew in his heart that this thing could not be delayed. Whether it was Yu Kilo or those ferrymen, it was easy for them to interfere, and it was almost on. Since the souls have been dealt with, Lin Kaiyun's mission is considered completed. Without these souls, Yu Kilo can no longer use Hanba's body to cause trouble. As for the ferrymen, they have nothing to do with him. Qiqing, let's run. Lin Kaiyun took Qiqing's hand, turned around and ran out of the barrier without saying a word. This barrier, due to the consumption of Yu Kilo's power, has become very unstable at this time, and it can't play any blocking role. It may disappear at any time. Zhao Li was naturally very angry when he saw that the souls belonging to the underworld were destroyed by Lin Kaiyun. But things have calmed to this point, and there is nothing he can do to save the situation. Zhao Li grabbed Shi Wenai's shoulder with a fist and shot Shi Wenai in the forehead, but Shi Wenai still turned into plague and escaped. Bang! Zhao Yun's huge figure appeared in the right place, picked up Shi Wenai with a spear, stepped into the air, split to ocean with force, and smashed down with his spearhead. A big hole was smashed on the ground. Fortunately, Shi Wenai reacted quickly and rushed out after the spear hit him. But he was hit by the spear of the martial spirit Zhao Yun and was injured. His right shoulder collapsed. After Zhao Li summoned his martial spirit Zhao Yun, Shi Wenai was in a passive situation. He could deal with it at first because he could transform into plague at any time. But as Zhao Li became more familiar with Shi Wenai's skill of transforming into plague, the attack gradually took effect. Finally, he found an opportunity and hit Shi Wenai's body. Zhao Li sneered and mocked, "Shi Wenai, it seems that your partner has done his own thing and left you here." Shi Wenai dragged his right arm and looked around. The Yincha of the underworld still had a certain advantage, but if he lost, he would probably be finished. Zhao Li. You have so few memories, yet you are so talkative, Shi Wenai cursed, gritting his teeth. In order to allow Lin Kaiyun to destroy the soul smoothly, he had already lost the best opportunity to evacuate. Now that he was injured, it was difficult for him to escape. My soul in the underworld has been disturbed by you, so you should stay, Zhao Li spoke fiercely, and then rushed forward with his martial spirit Zhao Yun. Although the soul was not taken back, killing Shi Wenai, one of the 5 ghosts in the underworld, was also a redemption. Chapter 114 Black Dog Devouring Meat. Lin Kaiyun dragged kicking and ran a long way. As luck would have it, they were very close to where Prince Zaichen and Yanayan were hiding. For a moment, several people looked at each other. Seeing Prince Zaichen's surprised look, Lin Kaiyun smiled and cursed, "What are you looking at? Watch your show obediently, or I will take action." Prince Zaichen watched the whole battle tonight and knew that even if Lin Kaiyun was exhausted, he was still someone he couldn't afford to offend. Even if he was insulted, he could only swallow his anger. However, Prince Zaichen was used to being high and mighty. When had he ever suffered such humiliation? He couldn't help but curse in a low voice, "Damn slave, when my uncle Zuinka is free, I will let him kill you." The voice was very small, but after Lin Kaiyun was promoted to the 4th level, refining the body into Qi, his 5 senses were very sharp, and he heard every word of Prince Zaichen. "Since you want to die, I'll grant your wish." Lin Kaiyun turned his head and looked at Prince Zaichen, with a smile on his lips. Prince Zaichen didn't notice anything, but Yanayan realized something was wrong and quickly pushed Prince Zaichen away. "No, Prince, run." Prince Zaichen staggered, and he looked at Yanayan behind him in confusion, not understanding what this meant. Suddenly, Prince Zaichen felt that his body seemed to be out of control. Lin Kaiyun, who was not far away, stretched out his hand and grabbed Prince Zaichen in the air. Taking objects from a distance is the most iconic feature of refining the body and making life. Prince Zaichen, who had no cultivation, was no different from objects such as tables and chairs, just a little heavier. One flower, one world. Yanayan couldn't believe that Prince Zaichen was taken away in front of her. She turned her hands and looked at Lin Kaiyun with tenderness in her eyes. She seemed to be dancing, and the illusion was about to happen, and then she suddenly stopped the movement of her hands. Lin Kaiyun turned his head aside, not looking at Yanayan at all. At the same time, a blood arrow was hanging in front of him. He shouted disdainfully, "Keep flipping, keep dancing. Do you believe that I can shoot you to death before your illusion takes effect?" Yanayan knew the power of Lin Kaiyun's blood arrow, which could even hurt a zombie king Zhuangke. Naturally, she did not dare to act rashly and smiled charmingly. "Brother, you are joking. I just want to dance for you. How dare I fight with you? You know the time, but you don't have to dance shyly. I just like to dance." Lin Kaiyun joked casually, and then his eyes became sharp, and the blood arrow in his hand shot out suddenly. How could it be? Yanayan didn't expect that Lin Kaiyun said he knew the time, but he actually took action directly. His face was panicked and he fled in embarrassment, but how could this blood arrow be so easy to avoid? He had no choice but to block the crow man in front of him. Puff! A bloody hole appeared on the crow man's forehead, and the blood arrow passed through his body, brushing Yanayan's face, and flew to the horizon. Crack! The crow man's last life was also used up. The twins' bodies exploded instantly, countless black feathers popped out, and dead crows continued to fall to the ground. Yanayan's left face was rotten, but she was lucky enough to have a life, so she didn't dare to delay and took the opportunity to escape. Tisk tisk, Lin Kaiyun shook his head and muttered. "Why did you miss?" At the same time, Prince Zaichen was frightened and collapsed on the ground. He wanted to escape, but his body was still not under his control. Lin Kaiyun exerted a little force on his wrist, and Prince Zaichen took off into the air and flew over slowly. Prince Zaichen opened his mouth and begged for mercy with tears. "Please spare my life, Grandpa, Ancestor, please spare me." Lin Kaiyun was too lazy to talk to this remnant of the Qing dynasty. He threw Prince Zaichen aside and took out 2 incense sticks from his storage belt and shot them out at high speed. The incense sticks were like sharp swords, piercing Prince Zaichen's arms and nailing him to the ground. Ah! Prince Zaichen howled in pain. Lin Kaiyun danced with joy, humming a divine tune. "You are an immortal in an ancient cave in a desolate mountain, practicing alone in peace and quiet in a place with few people around. You have accumulated merits and virtues for many years, and the subtle Dharma has come to my altar. Why do you have other intentions now, and instead of making peace with me, you are resentful of me? I am an upright person, and my ancestors ordered me to save the world. Hurry up and obey my ancestors' orders, and move the troops without delay." The incense nailed to Prince Zaichen's arm quickly burned, and green smoke rose and floated. Woof woof woof, the sound of dogs barking was heard, and more than a dozen black dogs appeared around Lin Kaiyun. Black Cloud Mountain, Howling Sky Cave, Sanctioner, Black Dog. The black dogs scattered in pairs, making way for a path. A black dog, wearing a straw curtain, walked upright. The immortal black dog was the first to introduce his family, and then he bowed to Lin Kaiyun and said, "Hello, I wonder what you want to ask me, Master." Generally, the status of immortals is higher than that of disciples, but the low-level immortals are a little less confident when facing Lin Kaiyun, so they behave very respectfully and politely. Lin Kaiyun also nodded and went straight to the point in a friendly manner. "Master Black Dog, this man is a disaster to the world. It would be too easy to kill him directly. You choose some uncivilized descendants, bite him to death bit by bit, so that he can't transcend. People who are bitten to death and eaten by the black dog will be reduced to ashes and will not enter the reincarnation. Even if the King of Heaven comes, there is no way to save them. After all, Prince Zaichen and the remnants of Daking are superstitious. Since Lin Kaiyun has taken action, he will not leave any room for them." Sanctioner Black Dog rolled his eyes and asked in embarrassment, "Master Chuma, can we use another method?" Lin Kaiyun knew Sanctioner Black Dog's worries and said with a smile, "Master Black Dog, don't worry, I will take care of the evil for your descendants. Later, I will report to the Jinho sect leader in the hall. Not only will it not harm you, but you will also gain merit." Sanctioner Black Dog was able to cultivate into human form, which was not easy. At the same time, he also hoped that his descendants would follow him and follow the path of the fairy family, so he must not hurt anyone's life. "I will obey the order of Master Chuma." After Sanctioner Black Dog heard Lin Kaiyun's words, he felt at ease in an instant. He barked at a dozen black dogs a few times. Suddenly, these dozen uncivilized black dogs, like vicious dogs pouncing on food, pounced on Prince Zaichen and opened their mouths to bite him. These black dogs showed their wildness, tearing off a piece of flesh with each bite. The strong black dogs took advantage of the situation, drove away the other black dogs, and bit Prince Zaichen's abdomen. For wild animals, meat is only secondary, and the internal organs are the most nutritious part. Prince Zaichen's body could not move, and he could not die for a while. He watched the black dogs eat him and cried miserably, "Ah! Spare my life." Chapter 115, The Final Move. Lin Kaiyun, "My people from the Qing imperial family will definitely avenge me." Prince Zaichen let out his last wail and died with a groan. At this time, Prince Zaichen's body had been torn apart by the black dogs, and he died with his eyes wide open. In fact, this was already considered as Lin Kaiyun letting Prince Zaichen go. If a perverted person strengthened Prince Zaichen's soul so that he would not die so quickly, he would have to watch his body being eaten, which would be more painful than being cut into pieces. Woof woof woof, the two black dogs seemed to be fighting for something. At first Lin Kaiyun didn't care, but the barking became louder and louder, and it was very noisy. Woof, Sanctioner Black Dog scolded these uncivilized black dogs, then opened his mouth and gave Lin Kaiyun a smile. "Master Chuma, these descendants of mine are not yet intelligent, please don't blame me." "No problem." Lin Kaiyun waved his hand. He didn't blame the black dogs. He took a curious look and quickly said, "Wait." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Kaiyun bent his hand and clenched it, and the thing that the two black dogs were fighting for instantly flew into his hand. The two black dogs were a little confused when they saw that the thing they were fighting for was gone, and they lowered their heads to sniff around. "Is this a poem?" Lin Kaiyun held a square piece of leather in his hand. It was difficult to identify what kind of leather it was. The whole thing was damp and yellow, and it looked like it was stored underground. There was nothing else on it, only a few lines of words, which read, "When the beginning is done, the end is also the beginning. The end is so near, but it cannot be so far. The coiled dragon is afraid of leaking out, so it is forced to swallow itself. The 9 blades on the mountain are one step short. It is better to break through the armor and enter the game than to smile at the world and return." Kinking on the side saw Lin Kaiyun frowning, so she also came over and asked, "Brother Lin, what's wrong? What's written on it?" Lin Kaiyun shook his head. "I don't know, it seems to be a poem, but I don't know what it means." The black dog, a scattered immortal, rolled his eyes and said to Lin Kaiyun, "Master Chuma, I have practiced in Zai Ocean Cave for 100 years. I have heard a thing or two about the things in this area. Can you lend it to me to read? Maybe it can help you, Master Chuma. The lineage of scattered immortals is very difficult, especially the scattered immortals outside the 5 major families. They basically rarely find disciples to be horses, and can only accumulate merits by visiting people from all over the world. After practicing for so many years, the black dog has also experienced human culture. Although he cannot fully understand it, he knows that he should please others when he sees benefits. It is best for Lin Kaiyun to accept him as his own. It would be great if you knew. Lin Kaiyun did not think much and threw the parchment to the black dog. Sanxiner black dog grinned happily, his tongue drooping unconsciously, holding the parchment with his 2 paws and reading it. Oh, is there a chance? Seeing Sanxiner black dog's expression, Lin Kaiyun thought that it was confident and must know something. Master Chuma, I am really sorry, I did not see any clues. Sanxiner black dog returned the parchment to Lin Kaiyun, shook his head and said with some regret. I don't know. You're laughing so hard that you're sticking out your tongue? Lin Kaiyun complained silently in his heart, then took the parchment and naturally put it into his storage belt, smiling and saying, It's okay. Sanxiner black dog, like a human, bowed his hands honestly and said, Then, Master Chuma, if there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. Lin Kaiyun nodded and said, Go. I'll ask the Jinho sect master to confer merits on you and your descendants later. Excuse me, Master Chuma. Sanxiner black dog bowed, and disappeared into the morning light with a dozen black dogs. At this time, a white color appeared on the horizon. It's almost dawn. Should I save Shi Wenai? Lin Kaiyun cast his eyes to the bottom of the slope. The barrier had disappeared long ago. Yu Kilo was madly attacking the zombie King Zuinka. The attack methods were all kinds of weird, but the zombie King Zuinka's defense was not low, so Yu Kilo was a little helpless. Shi Wenai was even more exhausted. Under the attack from Zhali and his Wu Ling, he could be killed at any time. Don't worry, system, open the panel, host, Lin Kaiyun, current realm, 4th level, refining the body into key, merit value. 85,150 points, skills, Yang Wulei, full level. Golden Light Curse, full level. 7 killing orders of gods and ghosts, killing order, Tongshan Lu, full level, Ghost Shadow Mystery, minor success. Godhead Mask, 1/100. Demon Bow, Blood Hades, 7-star Sword Curse, 0/100. Bagua Soft Fist, Treasures, 7-star Dragon Abyss Sword, Growth Form. 24 Bright Moon Knight Belt, Storage, Current Identity, Maotian Sect's True Disciple, Lin Fengzhao's eldest disciple, a horse-riding disciple, the master of the horse-riding fairy list, Sikon of the Hell's Soul-Snatching Division. Merit value required to draw a lottery. 40,000. Merit value required to upgrade. 100,000. System, I want to draw a lottery, twice in a row. The system shows that the merit points required for the lottery are 40,000 points. According to the previous rules, after each draw, Lin Kaiyun's merit points for the next draw will be 10,000 higher. However, if he draws continuously, even if he draws 10 times in a row, the merit points will be deducted according to 40,000. Now his merit points are exactly 80,000, and he can draw twice. As soon as the voice fell, Lin Kaiyun was in a virtual world. In front of him was a round object of unknown shape and appearance, like a chaotic pool that contained everything. The huge chaotic pool began to flow, and objects kept poking out of the water and falling down. Finally, a ball of light flashed and flew in front of Lin Kaiyun, and then burst open. The system prompt sounded, ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the final move, Collapse of Mountains and Earth-Splitting Slash, which has been automatically learned. Collapse of Mountains and Cracking of Earth, a very powerful finishing technique, said to come from an ancient race. It concentrates the blood and energy of the whole body on the sword blade, and the blood and energy are continuously compressed until they burn. In an invincible posture, it violently hammers the ground, breaking rocks and cracking the earth. The burning blood and energy merge with the broken earth to become magma, forming a secondary attack with the power to collapse the sky. After the technique was introduced, a picture appeared in Lin Kaiyun's mind. A person whose appearance could not be seen clearly, with red energy burning all over his body, and a bent knife in his hand burning with flames, suddenly chopped the ground. Suddenly, the entire land under his feet was shattered by this force, and at the same time, the compelling magma burst out from the cracks, a scene of destroying the world. After seeing the whole picture, Lin Kaiyun was stunned. He was not shocked by the power of this technique, but he seemed to have seen this move before. This is the skill of the berserker in DNF, isn't it? The big collapse. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116. He can't die, I said. Collapse of heaven and earth. Big collapse. You should know that the power of this skill is not as simple as it appears in the picture. Enemies attacked by this skill will not only be burned by magma, but also have bleeding wounds that will not heal. After a moment of stunned silence, Lin Kaiyun immediately became excited. If there were no one beside him, he would have raised his fist and cheered. Before he could calm down, the huge pool of chaotic water began to flow again. A ball of light flashed and flew in front of him, then cracked. The system prompt sounded, ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Fenghou Qimen, which has been automatically learned. Fenghou Qimen, you set the center palace at a certain point, and set up a Qimen magic array around you. You can change the position of the pattern at will to cause changes in things in the array. In Fenghou Qimen, time is just a scale to record the changes of things. You can turn the 4 plates at will, and you don't have to stick to the arrangement of the pattern of that hour to cast spells at will. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Shiling Pills, 10 pieces, Spirit Release Pill. After absorbing it, you can release spiritual power in your body and replenish the lost spiritual power. It turned out to be Fenghou Qimen. Since obtaining the Golden Light Curse and the Godhead Mask, this is the most desired skill of Lin Kaiyun. In Qimen, it is equivalent to a domain. Lin Kaiyun can do everything, and with the improvement of cultivation and realm, the scope of Qimen will become larger and larger. Moreover, there are many types of skills in Fenghou Qimen, especially the chaotic golden watch, which can change the time zone of yourself and the enemy. It is simply a magical skill. At this time, a domineering voice woke Lin Kaiyun up. Shi Wenai, you ruined my good thing, you will die today. Below the earth slope, Lin Jiu swept Shi Wenai aside with a gun, and Zhao Li flew up, with his spiritual power surging at the muzzle of the gun, ready to kill Shi Wenai. Sir Plague Ghost, the ox-headed and horse-faced cow shouted anxiously, wanting to save Shi Wenai. The bull-headed and horse-faced demons are not the only ones in the underworld. If the Yin messengers perform well, they will be promoted to bull-headed and horse-faced demons. Although they look a little uglier, their combat effectiveness and treatment are much better than those of Yin messengers. And these 2 bull-headed and horse-faced demons are the pioneers of Shi Wenai. If Shi Wenai dies, they will probably be punished when they return to the underworld. But how could the ferryman let them do as they wish? He trapped them tightly and made it impossible for the bull-headed and horse-faced demons to break free and rescue them. After all, they are also people from the underworld, and they are very likely to be the confidants of Master Wu Shifai's great-grandfather. I can't just watch you die. Lin Kaiyun thought to himself, shook his head conceitedly, and praised himself. Oh, I am so kind. Then he quickly poured out 3 Shiling Pills and stuffed them into his mouth. The taste was like candy beans, not bitter, nor medicinal, but rather sweet. After swallowing it, Lin Kaiyun felt his body warm, as if he had drunk 80-degree liquor. His remaining spiritual power was quickly restored, not only recovering all the lost spiritual power, but also exceeding the limit. Enough. It's so hot, so hot. Lin Kaiyun felt like he was standing in a steamer. His whole body was hot. King, who was standing by, looked at Lin Kaiyun in confusion and reminded him in a low voice, Brother Lin, your face is so red, it's more than just a blush, my blood is boiling. Lin Kaiyun's adrenaline was overflowing, and he couldn't stop. He jumped up and down on the spot. He couldn't control himself and screamed to the sky, no, I want to hit someone. Then Lin Kaiyun kicked his feet and jumped out at a very fast speed, all the way to the edge of the slope, stepped on the stone, and braked suddenly, stirring up a cloud of dust. Looking at Zhao Li who had already opened fire, Lin Kaiyun stepped out on tiptoe, put one hand behind his back, and shouted, innately lead this Haoshan, cover this Haoshan changes, and turn me into a king. Buzz! In the Norda area, an 8-diagram strange gate that only Lin Kaiyun could see appeared, flashing a blue light. Shi Wenai was pressed down on the shoulder by Lin Jiu's spear, unable to move, and saw that the spiritual bullet was about to hit his forehead. Zhao Li glanced at Lin Kaiyun on the slope and said with a smile, "Shi Wenai, that kid is back again. I will catch him and kill him after the interrogation to accompany you." Zhao Li's voice was neither loud nor soft, and he did not mean to hide anything. Lin Kaiyun naturally heard it. He stared at Zhao Li with a cold voice. "No need, he can't die," I said. As soon as the voice fell, Lin Kaiyun quickly activated Fenghou Qimen and transferred the word Jin to Shi Wenai's body. Jin, Luan Jingwei. Suddenly, Shi Wenai was in a trance for a while, and then returned to normal. Everything in front of him did not change, but the wound on his body, the bleeding speed slowed down. Zhao Li did not notice anything wrong, just thought Lin Kaiyun was scaring him, and the spiritual bullet hit Shi Wenai's forehead accurately. Bang! There was a sound of impact, and the spiritual bullet suddenly disappeared, and instantly appeared in front of Zhao Li and shot into Zhao Li's body. Plop! Zhao Li covered his chest, unable to support his body, and knelt on one knee. He used all his strength to attack Shi Wenai. His spiritual power was very pure. Although it was not fatal, he was seriously injured. How is this possible? Zhao Li couldn't believe it. Why didn't the spiritual bullet attacking Shi Wenai cause any harm to Shi Wenai, but instead hide himself? He looked at Shi Wenai, then turned his head and looked at Lin Kaiyun. "Did you do it?" "Bingo." Correct answer. Lin Kaiyun jumped down from the earth slope with a light leap, walked slowly and leisurely with square steps, and joked to the injured Zhao Li. "Zhao Li, I watched the TV series and had a good impression of you. You ferry souls and fulfill the wishes of the dead. How come you become like a hawk and dog here? What did you say?" "I don't understand." Zhao Li thought Lin Kaiyun was teasing him, and shouted viciously, "Boy, you are dead, Zhao Yun, do it." Zilin got the order. After hearing what Zhao Li said, Wu Ling Zhao Yun on the side waved his spear and stabbed Lin Kaiyun. "Kunzi, Tu Che." Lin Kaiyun turned the kunzi to Wu Ling Zhao Yun's body, and suddenly the land emerged, and a huge earth snake lifted Wu Ling Zhao Yun up, then threw him aside, and then pressed him down with the momentum of Mount Tai. Martial spirit skill, white horse and silver spear. Wu Ling Zhao Yun raised his spear and stabbed. The white horse neighed. The spear was still there, as if raising fire to burn the sky, piercing the earth snake into pieces. Lin Kaiyun took out the 7-star dragon abyss sword, and looked at Wu Ling Zhao Yun coldly. "Let me try it on you." Chapter 117, With my blood, open my door. The earth snake was crushed by Wu Ling Zhao Yun, and the stones also fell. Zhao Yun used the spear tip to poke and shoot, and his posture was extremely agile. The scattered stones could not stick to him. But Wu Ling Zhao Yun did not notice that Lin Kaiyun had already locked his eyes on him. Lin Kaiyun was holding the 7-star dragon abyss sword in his hand, and his whole body was emitting heat. The heat continued to rise and the color gradually turned red. The 7-star dragon abyss sword in his hand had a little flame flickering on the blade. "This boiling feeling is really cool." Lin Kaiyun's eyes turned blood red, and this bloodthirsty light made people feel scared. He had silently performed the collapse of heaven and earth splitting slash, and the blood and energy in his body were condensed. He could even feel that all the cells in his body were constantly splitting and exploding, and he actually had a feeling of breaking out of his body. This blood energy flows along the wrist, ignoring the difference between objects and bodies, connecting the 7-star dragon abyss sword and the arm together, truly as if it were an arm. The blade was burned red by the high temperature, as if it had just been forged. Collapse of heaven and earth. The blood energy around Lin Kaiyun climbed to peak, and this blood energy constantly devoured the air in this area, giving people a suffocating sense of oppression. Obviously just a 4th-level Maotian Taoist priest, how could he have such a terrifying skill? Zhao Li could no longer be described as shocked at this time. Facing Lin Kaiyun's moves, he actually felt a little fear. You know, even hundreds of years ago, when facing Teoti, he was not so afraid. "My lord Acha, please forgive my incompetence." "Zhao Yun, come back." On Zhao Li's black coat, obscure runes flashed. He used up his last bit of strength to take back his martial spirit Zhao Yun. Shi Wenai wanted to stop Zhao Li, but he could never touch Zhao Li. Lin Kaiyun, who was ready to go, suddenly found that the huge figure of Zhao Yun in front of him disappeared. Damn, it disappeared. What should I do? I'm already surging, and I don't need to use my skills. I feel uncomfortable. Lin Kaiyun looked aggrieved, raised the 7-star dragon abyss sword, looked at Zhao Li, and laughed maliciously. "Hey, then you try my new moves." Bang! Zhao Li smiled at Lin Kaiyun, raised his pistol decisively, put it on his chin, and pulled the trigger suddenly. The spiritual bullet flew out of the hall and exploded Zhao Li's head from top to bottom. The scene was like a broken watermelon scattered all over the ground. Fuck, the script is wrong? Why did he suddenly commit suicide? Lin Kaiyun couldn't believe his eyes. Zhao Li was a character in the play after all. How could he commit suicide so decisively without causing any waves? The most important thing is that Lin Kaiyun's big collapse is already in his hand. The disappearance of 2 consecutive targets is too uncomfortable to use. At this time, Lin Kaiyun looked at Shi Wenai and snorted coldly. Seeing Lin Kaiyun staring at him, Shi Wenai shuddered and felt a little scared. He quickly said, "Boy, why are you looking at me? I'm from the underworld. You don't want to kill your companions, do you? I was covering you just now." "We cooperated so well," Lin Kaiyun questioned. "Shi Wenai, Zhao Li was injured, why didn't you catch him just now?" This way he couldn't run away. Shi Wenai also had a helpless look on his face, and started to argue. "Lin sickened. I wanted to stop him just now, but I couldn't touch him. The situation is stronger than the person." Shi Wenai even changed the way he addressed Lin Kaiyun. Before, out of consideration for the face of Wu Shifei, the soul-catching division, Shi Wenai could save Lin Kaiyun, but now the fighting power shown by Lin Kaiyun forced him to be careful. It is not impossible that this kid, in a fit of anger, digs a hole and buries him on the spot. After all, Lin Kaiyun's bloodthirsty eyes and blood-colored steam all over his body make him look like he wants to kill someone. "Oh, right. I remember now. You are still in a different time zone, so you can't meet Zhao Li." Lin Kaiyun patted his forehead and remembered that he had used the Golden Watchman to put Shi Wenai in a different time zone. After all, this ability was just acquired and he hadn't adapted to it yet. Time zone? What is it? Shi Wenai was a little confused when he heard this, and then looked at Lin Kaiyun in surprise, and asked tremblingly, "Could it be that you can change time?" Lin Kaiyun thought about it and summed up a statement that he thought was reasonable. "It's not changing time, how to say it? It's 4-dimensional time, and then slightly modified." Shi Wenai was even more confused. "4th dimension? What is that?" "It's a higher dimension." "Oh, I don't have time to explain it to you now. I'm still holding back my big move. It's really uncomfortable." Lin Kaiyun was really impatient when he heard Shi Wenai asking questions back and forth. He made an excuse and turned his head to look for his target. After Zhao Li committed suicide, those ferrymen were like headless flies, strangled by the ox-headed and horse-faced ghost. "No, it's a waste to use my ultimate skill on these little minions." Lin Kaiyun shook his head and continued to look around. He saw Yu Kilo and the zombie king Zhuan Kui entangled with each other. The finishing move, shooting an 8th-level zombie king, is not a loss of face. Lin Kaiyun made up his mind and then shouted to Yu Kilo, "Yu Kilo, help me control Zhuan Kui. Half a second is enough. I will help you to deal with him. How about it?" "Okay," Yu Kilo agreed without thinking. She didn't consider whether Lin Kaiyun was cheating at all. Anyway, as long as she could kill Zhuan Kui to avenge Zhang Xianzong, she would accept anyone. Observe the patterns of birds and beasts, and classify the feelings of all things. Use my spirit to call my soul, and use my blood to open my door. Open, the seal is released. A spiral circle appeared between Yu Kilo's eyebrows and continued to expand at a slow speed. Swish. The little paper figures surrounding Yu Kilo all burned up, and the scattered ashes formed a formation, the core of which was Yu Kilo herself. She clenched her teeth, suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and spat it at her feet. The whole formation flashed a red light and began to flow. The spiral circle between her eyebrows continued to expand, and soon occupied half of her forehead. The spiral circle exploded, and a white soul body emerged, a 4-hoofed monster with white hair on its head, long fangs, and a beast face on each of its front hooves and knees, roaring constantly. The whole body was wrapped in red blood chains, extending from the center of Yu Kilo's eyebrows. "What is this?" Lin Kaiyun looked at this ugly thing. And words popped out one by one. Chapter 118. My sword has long been thirsty. The strange thing on Yu Kilo's forehead tried to break free from the chains, but a red light appeared on the chains and it quickly calmed down. Under Yu Kilo's command, the figure stepped in the clouds and went up. In an instant, the sky was covered with dark clouds, blocking the white sky. The whole area was dark and a dark fog appeared. In the dark clouds, lightning kept passing through, and the whole sky was thundering. A huge figure appeared in the black fog, with blood-stained fangs, white hair on the head, and green scales all over the body. There were two roaring beast faces on the knees, and two blood-red tails at the tail were swinging domineeringly. It raised its head and roared. It looked down on everything in the world. Wow! Lin Kaiyun raised his head and looked at this domineering figure. Shi Wenyi supported his injured body and walked to Lin Kaiyun's side. Thinking that Lin Kaiyun was shocked, he patted his shoulder and comforted him. Don't be too surprised, this thing is definitely not an ordinary thing. It is normal to have such power. As a result, Lin Kaiyun blurted out a sentence, which almost sprained Shi Wenyi's waist. This thing is ugly and handsome. The more I look at it, the more I like it. If it is used as a mount, it will definitely be cool, Lin Kaiyun said seriously. Are you kidding? Haven't you seen pigs run before you have eaten pork? In the previous life, he had seen all the terrifying monsters on the internet, and SCP and Cthulhu were even more familiar to him. Although this time it was a real thing and it was very shocking, Lin Kaiyun's mentality was great. At this moment, King, who was hiding in the distance, shouted, Brother Lin, what I'm looking for is this monster. After the shadow of this monster appeared just now, King felt that the goo worm in her body became restless. After the monster howled, she was sure that the thing that attracted the goo worm was this monster. Only by combining with this monster can it become a complete goo worm. Lin Kaiyun raised the 7-star dragon abyss sword and pointed at the domineering figure in the black cloud, and asked, Are you talking about this ugly and handsome big guy? That's right, okay, I know. Lin Kaiyun had an idea in his mind. He glanced at Yukilo. His face was already covered with bloodlines. It was obvious that he was overdrawing his body and life. This must be the last killing move. At that time, it would be a great way to kill two birds with one stone. Yukilo certainly didn't know that Lin Kaiyun had already calculated her. She stared at the zombie Wang Zuinqi and suddenly attacked. Roar! The overbearing monster in the black cloud roared and stomped down, locking onto the zombie King Zhuankui with its overbearing might. Roar! The zombie King Zhuankui also roared, facing the overbearing monster that was pressing down, without any fear, waving his claws, and the corpse key filled the sky. Boom! It was as if two mountains collided with each other, and no sound was heard, but the shaking of the ground under his feet showed how strong this collision was. The overbearing monster opened its mouth and swallowed all the corpse key. It did not slow down, and also wanted to swallow Zhuankui, but Zhuankui relied on his strong body to confront the huge mouth, and his claws continued to attack the overbearing monster. AWW. Seeing that it could not swallow Zhuankui, the overbearing monster quickly shrank its huge body and directly crashed into Zhuankui's body, destroying Zhuankui's body. But Zhuankui was a zombie, and his internal organs had long been rotten. As long as the corpse key did not dissipate, he would not die, and would not attack the body from the inside, which still made Zhuankui overwhelmed. At the same time, Yukilo saw a good opportunity and yelled at Lin Kaiyun, Why don't you do it? Don't worry. My sword has been thirsty for a long time. Lin Kaiyun smiled at Yukilo, and the blood in his body boiled together, like a diesel train, constantly emitting smoke, but it was red smoke. Fortunately, he had eaten too much Shilling pills before, so he had extra strength to maintain the skills for such a long time. Lin Kaiyun took the 7-star dragon abyss sword and jumped out in one step. The speed seemed very slow, but after images kept leaving behind him, and he appeared directly next to the zombie King Zhuankui. He raised the 7-star dragon abyss sword high, and the high temperature on the blade cut through the air and burned thoroughly, as if it was a life-threatening flame from hell. Bang! It smashed down suddenly, and the flames covered it, and the shadow of the 7-star dragon abyss sword was completely invisible. Roar! The zombie King Zhuankui reacted very quickly and wanted to jump back, but the flames continued to extend, and suddenly, it cut Zhuankui's chest. However, this is not over yet. Mountain collapse, earth-splitting slash, Lin Kaiyun shouted, and the 7-star dragon abyss sword smashed on the ground like a warhammer. Boom! In an instant, an earthquake came, and the ground beneath his feet directly split open, exploding cracks of different rules. The cracks continued to collapse with an irresistible suction force. The zombie King Zhuankui was also restricted by this force and did not jump up. Boom! The cracks continued to turn red, and the temperature around them also became hot. The rolling magma rushed straight into the sky, completely enveloping and burning the zombie King Zhuankui. Roar! Zhuankui roared in pain. Flames are the nemesis of zombies. This burning bloody magma continued to devour Zhuan Kui's body. At this moment, the domineering monster that drilled into Zhuan Kui's body also took the opportunity to break out of his body. This internal and external attack was too much for even the 8th level zombie king to resist. In the painful wailing, the corpse gas dissipated. Ling. Congratulations to the host for participating in the elimination of the 8th level corpse and gaining 40,000 merit points, the system's voice sounded in Lin Kaiyun's mind. How can it be participation? Lin Kaiyun was very unhappy with the information broadcast by the system. He was judged as participation. Even so, he was awarded 40,000 merit points. If it weren't for the monster who stole his head, the merit points would be at least 70,000 or 80,000. Lin Kaiyun looked at the monster and whispered with gritted teeth, "You will have to pay for the merit points I lost." He turned the exchanger under the monster, pinched a spell in his hand, and shouted loudly, "Exchange word, Xiangtan merit." Crack! Multiple prismatic Xiangtan appeared out of thin air and surrounded the monster. When they were about to close, the chains on the monster shook and made a sound, and then disappeared in an instant. No need to ask, it must be Yu Qiluo's trick. Yu Qiluo also saw that Lin Kaiyun had bad intentions, but she was exhausted and had no way to deal with a lively Lin Kaiyun. She simply ignored him and went directly to the purple jade coffin. A red light burst out from her palm and she grabbed Hanba directly. She wanted to take the body of Hanba with her and find a chance to revive Zhang Xianzong in the future. Don't even think about it. How could Lin Kaiyun let him do what he wanted? He pointed at the void and hundreds of talismans appeared out of thin air and waved at Yu Qiluo. Yu Qiluo ignored Lin Kaiyun's attack and just wanted to grab Hanba before the talismans. At this critical moment, tisk, a strange cry sounded, and the 7-star dragon abyss sword in Lin Kaiyun's hand also vibrated and hummed. Chapter 119, Fortune and Honor in Danger. A huge figure rose from the body of Hanba, and swung its tail to send Yu Qiluo and the talisman flying. The shock wave rolled up a lot of smoke and dust, which scattered everywhere. Oh my god. Is that true? Lin Kaiyun stood firm, rubbed his eyes, and looked at the black shadow in the sky. He couldn't believe it. In the sky, a black dragon was hovering, with its whiskers floating slightly. It seemed that there were pearls under the dragon's head, emitting a dazzling light. The dragon was so big that you could only see its head but not its tail. It was right above everyone, looking down on everything, giving people a strong sense of power. Tisk, the black dragon roared, and the sound shook the copper plate in the sky. The air around it collapsed rapidly, and its breath turned into clouds, gliding down. Fuck, run! Lin Kaiyun turned around and ran without thinking. He still didn't think that there could be a dragon in this world, but it didn't matter. This guy looked hard to mess with. Little brother, we were in a hurry this time and didn't bring Lu Lingma with us. We can't take you with us, and we can't really help you. We'll leave first. See you in the underworld another day. Shi Wenai bowed to Lin Kaiyun and said righteously, and then gestured to the ox-headed horse face. The ox-headed horse face waved his white flag desperately, and a staircase appeared on the ground. Shi Wenai limped in. I just saved your life, so you should at least help me delay some time. Lin Kaiyun didn't expect that the plague ghost Shi Wenai would run away with the underworld messenger, and he was so shocked that his jaw dropped. Of course, Lin Kaiyun didn't have time to care about it now. The black dragon was very fast, and it was important to escape. Let alone Shi Wenai, he didn't have time to care about even Hanba and Yu Qiluo. Whatever happened? Lin Kaiyun put a magic talisman on his feet, ran up the slope, and ran with Kinking's hand. Let's go, Kinking said quickly. Brother Lin, that black dragon doesn't seem to want to attack you, huh? Lin Kaiyun was stunned for a moment, stopped, and looked back panting. Sure enough, the black dragon did not run towards him, but stopped above the corpse of the zombie king Zhuangke, sniffed carefully, opened its mouth and picked up Zhuangke. Huh? Lin Kaiyun breathed a sigh of relief. The body of the black dragon was too huge. When it rushed down just now, it couldn't tell where the target was. He was used to being vigilant and ran away subconsciously. Since the target is not me, it's easy. Lin Kaiyun didn't care about his image, crawled to the ground, quietly raised his head and stared at the black dragon's every move, with a weird smile on his lips. Kinking, who was standing aside, knew that something bad was going to happen as soon as she saw Lin Kaiyun smile. She guessed with some surprise and asked, Brother Lin, you don't want to be a dragon slayer, do you? Lin Kaiyun glanced at Kinking, rolled his eyes and shouted, Slay a dragon? Do I have time? With my small body, It's not even as big as the black dragon's beard. How can I slay a dragon? King asked. Then what are you doing lying there? Right now, the body of the drought demon is the most valuable treasure. If we can get it, we can take it back. If it has no value, we can destroy it. This will solve an unstable problem. Lin Kaiyun fixed his eyes on the body of the drought demon and spoke very firmly. Upon hearing this, King became a little worried. She bit her lip and reminded him, Brother Lin, the black dragon came out of the body of the drought demon. Aren't you afraid of angering the black dragon by doing this? Lin Kaiyun didn't care about what King said at all. He pointed at Yu Kilo below and said with a smile, honor and wealth are sought in danger. Look, Yu Kilo is so seriously injured, but she still didn't run away. King looked in the direction of Lin Kaiyun's finger and said with some confusion, Brother Lin, that person looks like he is about to run away. What do you know? It's obvious that Yu Kilo is recovering her strength and is ready to seize the opportunity to snatch the drought from me. Before Lin Kaiyun could finish his words, Yu Kilo at the bottom of the slope glanced at them, flew away wrapped in a little paper man, and disappeared into the horizon at an extremely fast speed. King tilted her head and looked at Lin Kaiyun, unable to help but stifle a laugh. Brother Lin, is this what you said about wanting to snatch the hanba from you? Ahem. Lin Kaiyun coughed lightly to hide his embarrassment, and then started talking nonsense seriously. King, this is why I, your brother Lin, am lying here. That Yu Kilo was scared away because of our interference? Yes. King nodded to deal with it, and did not expose Lin Kaiyun's excuse, and advised, then let's go quickly. The bolder the man, the more fertile the land. This hanba is ultimately a scourge, and I will never feel at ease if it is in the hands of others. Lin Kaiyun shook his head. He had made up his mind. While the black dragon was studying the zombie king's winky, he would snatch the hanba away. If he really couldn't snatch it away, he would destroy it. Lin Kaiyun did not put away Fenghou Qimen. He moved the word Kun under hanba's body and made a spell with his hands. Kun word, earth river car, bang. A earth snake sprang out from the ground and pushed hanba up. Lin Kaiyun controlled the earth snake with his fingers and swam towards him. Great, the black dragon doesn't care at all. Seeing that the black dragon did not react at all, Lin Kaiyun could not help but feel happy and looked forward to the earth snake approaching. Suddenly, the black dragon turned its head, and its huge eyeballs, like a lighthouse, shone on Lin Kaiyun and swam over. Tisk, the huge earth snake was unusually small in front of the black dragon. The black dragon opened its mouth and roared, and it was instantly shattered. Micro mouth. Lin Kaiyun slapped his mouth in annoyance, and was happy for nothing. King looked at Lin Kaiyun in a panic. Brother Lin, we failed, let's go. Lin Kaiyun stood up, pulled King, and ran quickly. It's definitely too late to go, we have to run. However, the distance that Lin Kaiyun and King were desperately running away from was not even an inch in the eyes of the black dragon. With a slight move, he caught up with it too. Lin Kaiyun felt a black shadow above his head, turned around and shot a bow, and the blood arrow shot out rapidly. Snap! The blood arrow, which had been invincible before and could even hurt a zombie king's winky, pierced the scales of the black dragon and was directly bounced off. Tisk! The black dragon screamed and grabbed Lin Kaiyun with its dragon claws. Tuanshinlu, Yang Wulei, Golden Light Curse. Lin Kaiyun didn't have time to think about it. And he opened fire at full power, using all the skills he could perform. However, facing the pressing dragon claws, he could only shake slightly. Chapter 120. This feeling is just so good. The claws, without any hindrance, went straight to Lin Kaiyun and King. In the eyes of the black dragon, these two people were ants. If it hadn't just wanted to snatch the hanba, it wouldn't have even looked at them. King was very scared at this time, looking at Lin Kaiyun with tears in her eyes. Brother Lin, what should I do? I can't move with this air pressure, what should I do? I can only fight. Lin Kaiyun's whole body was shining with golden light. The golden light spell that had worked every time seemed very small at this time. The light was shaky in the wind and rain, as if it could break at any time. Lin Kaiyun suddenly tore open his clothes, revealing his left shoulder and the mark of the little snake on it. This was the contract signed with the unknown giant snake Uncle Shen. He touched the storage belt with his right hand, took out a bundle of incense, ignited it with a fire on his fingertips, and poked it on the mark on his left shoulder with lightning speed. The burning incense was placed on his skin, and Lin Kaiyun felt a piercing pain, as if his entire left shoulder was on fire. His face was pale, and he grimaced in pain. He stepped on the 7-star steps and shouted, "The Golden Flower Sect Master is a guest in the hall, and he is famous in the 5 Immortals altar. My brother is here today to invite the Immortals to show their power. I would like to ask the Immortal Master Shen to come quickly, as fast as the law." Half a second later, there was still no response, just like before. He couldn't help it anymore, and cursed, "Damn it, old man, if you don't come out, I will go to the underworld to see the King of Hell." As soon as he finished speaking, a strange energy wave appeared behind him, and the hunched figure of Master Shen slowly emerged. The old man, Uncle Shen, was leaning on his cane, swaying with each step, and said, "Young man, are you scolding me? I am old and my reaction is a little slow." When Lin Kaiyun saw Uncle Shen finally come out, tears welled up in his eyes and he almost cried. As his horse-riding immortal, this giant snake Uncle Shen was out for the first time. He didn't care about respecting the old and loving the young. He pulled kicking and hid behind Uncle Shen, shouting anxiously, "Uncle Shen, save me first, I will explain it to you." After that, Lin Kaiyun didn't forget to push Uncle Shen to save him from being slow to react. "Ha ha ha, young man, you are the first one who dares to push me like this in thousands of years." Uncle Shen, the immortal, hit his old waist with one hand and laughed. At this time, the dragon claw fell without any suspense. Seeing this, Lin Kaiyun closed his eyes and muttered in a low voice, "Almighty Laojin. If I survive this time, I will definitely eat vegetarian food in the future." The gap between him and this black dragon is too big. He has used all means, but still cannot stop it. The only way now is to rely on his own horse spirit Master Shen. But even so, Lin Kaiyun is still unsure. In the impression of his old friend, dragons are the natural enemy of all snakes. "I am afraid that this Master Shen will find it difficult to resist. Is it possible that I, Lin Kaiyun, the leader of the younger generation of Maoshan, will die like this? You know, I haven't married my wife yet." Wu Shifi of the Soul-Snatching Division, the shitted Uncle Master, said that there was absolutely no danger at the beginning, which was pure bullshit. Bang bang bang. As time passed, Lin Kaiyun could clearly hear his own heartbeat, and even the heartbeat of King beside him could be heard. Lin Kaiyun suddenly opened his eyes and was overjoyed. "I'm not dead." He saw that Uncle Shen raised his snake-headed crutch and pressed it under the dragon's claws. His other hand was still beating his waist and back. Tisk, the black dragon floated in the air and roared angrily. The ant was able to block its attack. The scales on its body crackled and it paddled its claws harder. However, Uncle Shen lightly tapped the crutch, and the black dragon's claws bounced uncontrollably as if it was electrocuted. "Oh my god, is this fake?" Lin Kaiyun couldn't believe his eyes. A huge black dragon and a hunchbacked old man, the contrast was too great. Is it really as Uncle Shen said, that he disdains to practice to take low-level dragons? At this time, Uncle Shen from the immortal family turned his back to Lin Kaiyun and spoke slowly, "Young man, this is just the incarnation of a dragon vein, and it is far from the strength of a real dragon. How can you not be able to deal with it?" His voice was very kind, but Lin Kaiyun felt like he was mocking him no matter how he listened to it. Lin Kaiyun pretended not to hear Uncle Shen's ridicule, and asked in confusion, "What does it mean for the dragon vein to change its shape? Isn't this black dragon a real dragon?" Uncle Shen raised his head with great effort, looked up at the black dragon, and explained with a smile, "You see, its scales are not the number of 99 yang, and the ups and downs of the earth veins are called dragons. There are 9 mountains and 5 rivers, so it goes up to the sky and into the earth. It is the supreme ruler. Once it changes its shape is not much different from a real dragon." Lin Kaiyun nodded as if he understood, and then said, "No matter what it is, Uncle Shen, please help me get rid of this guy." Uncle Shen heard this, turned slowly, and moved towards Lin Kaiyun step by step with his crutches, shaking his head continuously. "The old man is tired." Lin Kaiyun was dumbfounded for a moment, and hurriedly advised, "No way. Uncle Shen, the black dragon is still circling, and it is obviously planning to attack. Since you are out now, just help it to the end." Uncle Shen didn't even raise his head, looked at the road seriously, and said with a smile, "I can help you, but I won't fight this little black loach myself. It will be a loss of status." Lin Kaiyun was a little speechless. "You don't fight? Then who will?" "I can't beat him either." "That's right, you fight me." "That's right, just recite the incantation, and I'll lend you some strength." Hearing this, Lin Kaiyun understood that Uncle Shen was finally willing to take possession of his body and lend him strength. He closed his eyes and shouted, "The leader of the Golden Flower sect is here, and all the evil spirits go elsewhere. From now on, you must behave righteously, so that my magic soldiers won't hurt you. I obey the order of the leader of the Golden Flower sect, and I will do it as soon as possible. Uncle Shen, please take possession of my body." Uncle Shen of the immortal family smiled and nodded, and then disappeared. He just returned to the cave, and did not take possession of Lin Kaiyun. You have to know that its power is not something that ordinary people can bear, and it is enough to share a little strength to deal with this little black loach. Buzz! Lin Kaiyun only felt a chill in his body, the kind of chill that pierced his heart from the inside out, as if the blood in his body was rapidly cooling down, and his body began to shiver uncontrollably, with snake patterns flashing for a while, and scales covering his skin for a while. This feeling did not last too long, and Lin Kaiyun suddenly opened his eyes, his eyeballs turned green, his pupils stood up, and the corners of his mouth extended a little, as if he was always keeping a weird smile. Other than that, there were no other changes. King also saw the changes in Lin Kaiyun's eyes, and asked with some concern, "Brother Lin, are you okay?" "Nothing," Lin Kaiyun answered very affirmatively, then grinned, and licked his lips with his tongue like a letter. "This feeling is simply great." Chapter 121. The size is just what I want. Although Lin Kaiyun did not change dramatically, his aura was completely different. He became even more cold and fierce. He felt like an ancient god of death, which made King, who was standing by, a little afraid. Tisk, the black dragon, saw that the strange old man had disappeared, and his vigilance turned into anger. He roared and rushed down, his claws flaming with fire, grabbing Lin Kaiyun. Haha, just in time, Lin Kaiyun's pupils shrank. He was not afraid at all, but felt extremely excited. He exuded a bloodthirsty emotion from the inside out. Lin Kaiyun used the golden light mantra. At this time, the golden light mantra was no longer golden flames, but a green color. The aura was no longer masculine and fierce, but cold and fierce. Lin Kaiyun's pupils were erected, staring at the attacking black dragon. His sea-like consciousness enveloped the black dragon. Heaven and Earth mysterious sect, the root of all ki, it can protect the body from the inside and defend against enemies from the outside. The green light all over his body, like a thin thread, silently descended on the figure of the black dragon, running around in the dragon's body, intending to destroy the black dragon's scales. However, this green light seemed to have no effect, and the dragon's scales did not change at all. The black dragon suddenly raised its dragon head, released a large amount of water vapor, and hid in the waves. Bang! The huge dragon claws stretched out and tore all the green light apart. It didn't work? I don't believe it. Lin Kaiyun looked solemn, crossed his hands and grabbed the black dragon. Suddenly, a large green net appeared in the sky, densely covering the entire body of the black dragon. Tisk, the black dragon roared and coiled in a circle, and the red net dissipated instantly. So easy, Lin Kaiyun was a little surprised. It was not surprising that the black dragon could block his attack, but it was obviously wrong that it was so easily resolved. At this time, the voice of Uncle Shen sounded in Lin Kaiyun's mind. Xingfang Lilo is the dragon's body, Shen is the spirit, and the dragon is the substance. It is not a physical entity at all, not even a soul, so your energy is useless. Hearing this, Lin Kaiyun understood what Uncle Shen meant. Since energy is useless, then use force to defeat 10 skills and smash it to death with your fists. Lin Kaiyun touched the storage belt and took out a portrait. He smiled and threw it into the air. This portrait was the founder of Mioshan, San Mao Zhengjing. The portrait rose up without wind and stood upright in the air, facing Lin Kaiyun, and a golden light flashed in its outline. Eastern Jia and Yiwood are opposite to Mao, and the Gate of Injury is opposite to Zhen. 4 blue dragons, Western Jing and Xin Metal are opposite to you, and the Gate of Shock is opposite to Dui. 2 white tigers, Southern Bing and Ding Fire are opposite to Wu, and the Gate of Jing is opposite to Li. 3 red birds, Northern Ren and Gui Water are opposite to Z, and the Gate of Rest is opposite to Can. 6 black tortoises, Southeastern Wusun Du Gate is opposite to Chen Si, and Northeastern Qijen Sheng Gate is opposite to Yin Zhou. Southwest 8 Kun Si Gate is opposite to Wei Xin, and Northwest Yujin Kai Gate is opposite to Wu Hai. Disciple Lin Kaiyun, the formation is ready, and I beg the ancestor to come. Suddenly, the portrait shook violently, and at the same time, Lin Kaiyun's body also expanded rapidly and kept getting bigger. Boom 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 boom, then his heart began to beat rapidly, and its momentum and speed were so strong that it made the abnormal heat in his body, and then it quickly cooled down, and it was very refreshing. He felt like his whole body was like a machine, running fast. I can't take it anymore, it's so cool. Lin Kaiyun's face was extremely excited. He opened his hands domineeringly, and his momentum rolled out like a storm. This feeling of adrenaline accelerating the power, is simply indescribable. In Lin Kaiyun's opinion, it is many times more enjoyable than the wedding night. It's so cool. That's right, this is exactly the summoning technique that Taoist Simu is good at. He has always wanted to teach Lin Kaiyun. Although Lin Kaiyun has never learned it, when he was a guest at Taoist Simu's house, he saw Taoist Simu perform it several times. With the experience of the Godhead mask, he can already do it without a teacher. With the power of Uncle Shen's upper body and the summoning technique, Lin Kaiyun only felt that his strength was invincible at this time. He had no idea what level he could reach, but he felt that he could easily destroy a mountain. He clenched his fist, and in an instant, it seemed as if he had the strength of 10,000 pounds. Come on, Lin Kaiyun was not going to passively defend himself. He rushed forward with a roar, full of fighting spirit. Today, let alone the dragon in the shape of a dragon vein, even if a real dragon came, he would not hesitate to beat it. Whoosh! Whoosh! Lin Kaiyun soared into the air, stepped on his right foot with his left foot, and stepped on his left foot with his right foot. He kept jumping in the air at such a fast speed that his figure was a little blurred. He suddenly appeared beside the black dragon and stretched out his fist to pierce the reverse scale under the black dragon's head. Tisk! The black dragon felt Lin Kaiyun's extraordinary momentum and rolled over with force. With the help of the rolling posture, his two front paws continuously attacked Lin Kaiyun. Oh, sure, you know martial arts. Lin Kaiyun didn't expect the black dragon to be so flexible and find his weakness. But even if you really know martial arts, you're too clumsy in my eyes. Lin Kaiyun gathered his strength and used his body to hold the black dragon's claws. He took the opportunity to find a gap, and his hands made tiger claws, and slapped the black dragon's body directly, pulling it hard. Tisk! The black dragon screamed in pain. Black smoke and sizzling flames continued to emerge from its body, and it rose up desperately, and the shock wave it generated swept everything around it. During this period, the black dragon's claws and tail attacked Lin Kaiyun several times in succession, but every attack was dodged by Lin Kaiyun. There was no way. The huge body, even if relatively flexible, was very slow in Lin Kaiyun's eyes. The black dragon seemed to know this, and twisted continuously, and actually shrunk its body. Haha, it can shrink? Are you stupid? Seeing the black dragon shrink and break free from him, Lin Kaiyun felt a little amused, and didn't care whether the black dragon could understand his ridicule. This size is just what I want. Lin Kaiyun kicked hard, grabbed the black dragon again with his backhand, pressed down, and pulled the black dragon to the ground. Suddenly, a big pit was smashed into the ground, smoke and dust rolled, and the black dragon struggled frantically in the deep pit, but he couldn't throw Lin Kaiyun off no matter what. The black dragon's claws were all inserted into the ground, enduring Lin Kaiyun's attack, like a fish entering the sea, swimming in the soil. Lin Kaiyun couldn't bear the impact of the gravel in the soil, turned over and let go of the black dragon's body, and cursed unhappily. Damn, it's worthy of being a dragon vein incarnation, and it can swim in the soil? That's awesome. Lin Kaiyun was covered in dust at this time, but his eyes were fixed on the loosened soil. He didn't believe that the black dragon would hide in the soil forever. The black dragon was seen swimming in the soil towards the bottom of the slope, then suddenly emerged, stretching out its tough beard to roll up Hanba and Zhuangqi. Chapter 122, a poem. The black dragon no longer had the idea of fighting with Lin Kaiyun, and just wanted to escape. Humph, a cooked duck, how can you fly? Lin Kaiyun snorted, jumped up, jumped to Zhuangqi's side, stretched out his jade hand to grab the black dragon's beard, kicked his feet back, and held it tightly. At the same time, he kicked the black dragon and hit the black dragon's throat with his forehead. Suddenly, the black dragon sprayed a lot of mist, and its body shrank rapidly and disappeared, and it was hidden in the clouds. While Lin Kaiyun was looking for it, he wrapped up Hanba and took the opportunity to stick to the zombie king Zhuangqi. The dragon's energy wrapped Zhuangqi and disappeared into the earth together. Want to run? Don't even think about it. Lin Kaiyun certainly wouldn't let him leave easily, and kept bombarding the loosened land, but after the black dragon shrank, it was very fast and rushed into the mountains and disappeared. Pa! Lin Kaiyun spat out the dust in his mouth, looking unhappy. He got himself covered in dust, but the black dragon still ran away. It would have been fine if he ran away, but he actually snatched away the bodies of Hanba and the zombie king Zhuangqi. This is nonsense. He was so excited just now, but now it's a whimper. This feeling made Lin Kaiyun feel as uncomfortable as if he had eaten a fly. King saw from a distance that Lin Kaiyun had driven the black dragon away, and ran over in joy. She looked Lin Kaiyun up and down, and asked with concern, "Brother Lin, how are you? Are you not injured?" "No, I'm just a little." Lin Kaiyun shook his head, but he just said half of the sentence when he suddenly gasped for breath, and his body instantly became listless, looking exhausted and hopeless. "Brother Lin, what's wrong with you? Are you injured anywhere? Let me take a look for you." King saw that Lin Kaiyun was suddenly in pain, so she quickly supported him and turned over Lin Kaiyun's clothes with both hands to check if he had any hidden injuries. No. Lin Kaiyun grabbed King's hands and said with a smile, "King, it's okay. Although it's a dark and windy night with no one around, you have to give me some mental preparation before you take off my clothes." Hateful. After hearing what Lin Kaiyun said, King's face instantly turned red. She pushed Lin Kaiyun's chest, turned her back and said coquettishly, "Lin Kaiyun, it's already this time, and you're still teasing me." Lin Kaiyun was weak to begin with. After being pushed by King, his shaky body could no longer support himself. He sat down on the ground and shouted, "Hey, King, you've been gentle for less than a day, how come you've returned to your original form so quickly?" King turned her head, glared at Lin Kaiyun angrily, and cursed, "Who told you to laugh at me? I'm not laughing at you. You took off my clothes and I was just telling the truth." Lin Kaiyun spread out her hands with an innocent look on her face, then muttered softly, "Women. They're always troublesome." King didn't hear what Lin Kaiyun muttered afterwards, but she knew without thinking that it was definitely not a good thing. She pinched her waist and asked, "What did you say?" When Lin Kaiyun saw King's tigress look, she immediately became timid. After all, King, this heroine, was a woman who even dared to beat her master, Master Kaiyun. He shook his head quickly. "No, I said you are considerate." "Huh? That's more like it." King snorted lightly, and she said to Lin Kaiyun, "We should go too." "No." Lin Kaiyun waved his hand, did not get up, and regardless of the dust, he simply lay down on the grass. "Oh, take a break. I'm so tired tonight." Seeing this, King squatted in front of Lin Kaiyun, put her small hand on Lin Kaiyun's arm, and said while pulling, "Brother Lin, get up quickly. It's dirty and cold. I'll help you to rest somewhere else." Lin Kaiyun didn't show any sign of exhaustion, but raised his hand and put it under his head. "A real man. Don't be fussy. It's good here. The sky full of stars are so beautiful." "Really?" Hearing this, King tilted her head to look at the sky. It was almost dawn, and there was a noticeable brightness in the sky, but the sun had not risen yet. The stars and the dawn light mixed together, which was quite unique. "Brother Lin, you are really beautiful." King lay directly on the grass, and also followed Lin Kaiyun's example by putting her hands under her head, with stars in her eyes. Of course, Lin Kaiyun glanced at King and smiled. King, as a girl, was lying on the ground like him, and had such a bold side. It was indeed very comfortable to get along with her. He smiled and said, "Looking at this beautiful scenery, I want to recite a poem at this moment." "You can also recite a poem." King turned her head and looked at Lin Kaiyun with a look of disbelief. "Listen." Lin Kaiyun looked down on him, pointed at the stars in the sky, and shouted confidently, "Make a wish with your back to your back. See if the stars in the distance can hear you. Hand in hand, look up at the sky 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Look at the stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, connected interline." After reciting, Lin Kaiyun excitedly threw his arms behind his head, laughed and boasted, "Haha, what a good poem." The lowered arm just happened to touch King's hand under her head, and King blushed instantly. "Make a wish with your back to your back, hold hands and look up at the sky." King couldn't help muttering in her heart. Her head was confused and a mess at the time. Is Lin Kaiyun talking about the two of them? What does this mean? Does he like me? What should I do? Seeing that King didn't respond, Lin Kaiyun leaned to one side and asked curiously, "King, why don't you say anything? What do you think of this poem written by your brother Lin? Is it by Weregood?" No, I'm not saying anything." King was stunned for a moment and didn't react for a while. Then her face turned red to her ears. She asked embarrassedly, "Brother Lin, Your poem is quite special. Who did you write it for? Lin Kaiyun didn't even think about it and said casually, who did you write it for? I paid tribute to Jiu. To be precise, this was written by Jiu. Jiu. King was expecting Lin Kaiyun's answer, but it turned out to be this. This name sounded like a man's. I didn't expect that she would blush until now because of a poem written for a man. When King thought of this, she was so angry that she stretched out her hand and pinched Lin Kaiyun, cursing, shameless, hiss. Lin Kaiyun took a breath of cold air, touched his pinched arm, and cried out, it hurts. I'm so weak now, and you still hit me. At the same time, she also complained in her heart, this woman's face is really fickle. Seeing that Lin Kaiyun was not pretending, King asked in confusion, weak? By the way, brother Lin, what happened to you just now? I saw you were still full of energy just now. Oh. Lin Kaiyun hesitated for a moment, thought about it and said, it's not a big problem, I just entered the sage mode. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123. Who is it? Is it you? The two of them just lay under the stars. Under King's repeated questioning, Lin Kaiyun explained to him the meaning of the sage mode. Of course, this provoked King's shy boxing again. Finally, the two of them played for a while, looked at the stars and closed their eyes and fell asleep unconsciously. After all, they were too tired. An empty area, pitch black, without a trace of light in the sky, with strange dim lights flickering around. With the help of the faint light, you can see a vast ocean with a pavilion hanging above it. There is a square table in the pavilion, on which are placed various fresh fruits, which is very inconsistent with this lonely scene. Behind the square table is a soft couch, and a beautiful figure wearing a silk robe is lying on it sideways, wearing a red and white mask. Her appearance cannot be seen clearly, but she is majestic without anger, exuding an amazing aura. Master Zhao Li is dead, and the ferryman who carried out the mission with him has not returned. A black shadow suddenly appeared, kneeling under the square table, and reported respectfully. Oh, is that so? Zhao made a sound. Her expression could not be seen clearly inside the mask, but her voice was unusually cold, as if she had no emotion about Zhao Li's death. She said casually, Zhao Li died in his own territory? Have you investigated the cause? The black shadow did not dare to neglect it and answered truthfully, my lord, according to the investigation, it should be done by the people of the underworld. It seems that the 8 officials of the underworld have been living a stable life recently, otherwise they would not have come to trouble us. Zhao's voice was still cold, without any emotion or movement, as if she was a sculpture. My lord, do you want to retaliate against the underworld? No, the 8 officials of the underworld are not in my eyes at all. There is no need to compete with a group of flies. Zhao refused and then issued an order, go to the Sea of Memory, extract the memories of Zhao Li and those ferrymen, and find a ghost body to revive them. As you command. The black shadow knelt and left. As the black shadow disappeared, a huge ripple spread under the vast ocean, as if something broke through the water. Zhao seemed to feel it, and her sculpture-like body shook. At the same time, it was already daybreak, and Lin Kaiyun and King were walking on the mountain road. King put her hand on her forehead, blocking the big sun in the sky, looked at Lin Kaiyun with some resentment, and said, Brother Lin, why don't you summon your weasel again? Lin Kaiyun shook his head decisively and refused, and scolded, what are you thinking? It's broad daylight, do you want to cause a commotion? King kicked the stone in front of her in a bad mood. Really, I should have brought the stupid pig with me last night, Alice. Lin Kaiyun also sighed and said viciously, this stupid pig bit the rope and ran away today. If I meet it again, I will stew it. After waking up in the early morning, the two of them returned to the dock by the same route, just for their mounts, but the stupid pig was gone. Those talented people were still absorbing the elixir. Combined with the footprints at the scene, Lin Kaiyun came to a conclusion that the stupid pig escaped from prison by himself. It seemed that his previous honesty was all fake. Lin Kaiyun, who was in a bad mood, was in no mood to say hello to Zhang Mention and others, and left directly with King. Anyway, the purpose of his trip had already been accomplished. As for the things that King was looking for, they had long disappeared from Yukilo's place. Lin Kaiyun was homesick and had long since given up the idea of traveling while playing. He just wanted to go back quickly, so he took the shortcut. Of course, the shortcut was the mountain road, which was rugged and difficult to walk, and there was no place to rest. In addition, the sun was always scorching, so it was normal for Tingting to complain. Complaining was complaining, but the speed of the two people's travel was not slow at all. They walked more than 100 miles a day. At this speed, they would reach the bamboo house of Taoist Simu in another day. The sun gradually set and night was approaching. Lin Kaiyun suddenly stopped, pointed to a dark place in front of the right, and asked, Tingting, look ahead, is there a cave? Yes. Tingting looked in the direction of Lin Kaiyun's hand, then nodded and said, you don't want to stay in the cave tonight. In the cave, it's better than sleeping outside. Lin Kaiyun really planned to do so. He glanced around and continued, Tingting, go to the cave to see if it is damp. I'll go pick up some hay. Let's spend the night here. The cave was not big, but it was enough to accommodate two people. Lin Kaiyun found a lot of hay and firewood, and also shot a few rabbits and pheasants, which were roasted on the fire. The two were in a relaxed mood, had a good meal, extinguished the campfire, chatted for a while, and then fell asleep. It was past midnight. Because it was cloudy today, the moon was blocked by dark clouds. It was dark outside, and the cries of crows could be heard everywhere in the forest. The Yin people are hurrying on their way, the Yang people are getting out of the way, ding-ling-ling. The Yin people are hurrying on their way, the Yang people are getting out of the way. Not far from the cave where Lin Kaiyun was resting, a group of strange teams were hurrying on their way, with paper money scattered all over their feet to pave the road. Leading the way in the front was a young man, handsome, wearing a single summer coat, holding a talisman in one hand and shaking a copper bell in the other. Next to him was a man in a sweatshirt, holding a bag and constantly throwing out paper money. Behind these two people, there were two rows of zombies, wearing classic Qing Dynasty funeral clothes, stretching their arms, jumping stiffly, and making a bang-bang sound. Behind these zombies was a middle-aged man, wearing a linen shirt and a linen hat. His body was dirty, and his face was full of oil, as if he hadn't washed his face for several days. Akiang, Aheo, if there is no inn yet, just find a place to rest. Eat some dry food by the way, I'm starving. The middle-aged Taoist touched his rumbling stomach and couldn't wait to rest and eat. Okay, master, I'll go to the front to take a look. Akiang handed the cloth bag with paper money to Aheo and ran forward quickly. After a while, Akiang ran back. Master, there is no inn ahead, but there is a cave, which is quite suitable for rest. The middle-aged Taoist nodded and said directly, okay. Let's go to that cave. The three masters and apprentices accelerated their pace, and the bell rang more urgently. This is it, master. Okay, Akiang, Aheo, settle these zombies. In the cave, Lin Kaiyun was also awakened by the noisy sound of driving corpses, and sat up directly, and saw a figure walking into the cave. This figure was the middle-aged Taoist, and he also found someone in the cave. The two looked at each other and suddenly shouted in unison, who is it, who is it? Then, as if they recognized each other, they shouted in unison, it's you, it's you. Chapter 124 You can just call me sister-in-law. Lin Kaiyun, Uncle Master Mamadi. Although there was no moonlight and it was completely dark, the eyesight of a cultivator was different from that of an ordinary person, so it was not surprising that they could see the person in front of them clearly. Both of them recognized each other. The middle-aged Taoist priest in linen clothes and very sloppy was Lin Kaiyun's uncle, Lin Jiu's Jr., Mamadi. Mamadi also recognized Lin Kaiyun. He had seen him once a few years ago. Although he had changed a little, he still recognized Lin Kaiyun. Lin Kaiyun stood up and asked in confusion, Mamadi, Uncle Master, why are you here? He looked Mamadi up and down. His Uncle Master really hadn't changed at all in the past few years. He was still so unkempt. HMPH, Mamadi snorted coldly, put his hands behind his back and looked at Lin Kaiyun, and said in a high voice, why don't you greet your uncle when you see him? Senior brother Lin Jiu, is that what you were taught? Lin Kaiyun rolled his eyes, made a Tai Chi seal with his hands and bowed to Mamadi, greeting him, nephew. Lin Kaiyun greets your uncle. 3 years ago, Mamadi lived in Renjia town for a while, so Lin Kaiyun also got along with Mamadi for a while. His uncle was very sloppy, without any rules in his eyes. His talent for Taoism practice was not too high, and he didn't work hard, but he was very face-saving. For this reason, Mamadi was very resistant to Lin Jiu, who always taught him, and the relationship between the two was also very ordinary. In fact, in Lin Kaiyun's heart, he looked down on Mamadi. Compared with the Uncle Simu and Uncle Kaiyun he had met some time ago, this Mamadi really didn't look like a Maotian disciple at all. But after all, he was his uncle, and he couldn't show his displeasure, otherwise his master Lin Jiu would definitely punish him to face the wall and recite the Maotian code. That's more like it. Seeing Lin Kaiyun salute him, Mamadi nodded with satisfaction, and his tense face relaxed. He twisted his head to take in the scene in the cave. He originally wanted to find out if Lin Jiu was there, but he saw King sleeping soundly, and said meaningfully, "Kaiyun, it's not that Uncle Master wants to say anything to you. You are still young and your cultivation is still low. If you break your Tong Yang body now, it will affect your foundation of Taoism." No. Hearing this, Lin Kaiyun waved his hands and explained, "Uncle Master Mamadi, you misunderstood. There is nothing between me and her. She is." Mamadi interrupted Lin Kaiyun directly and scolded him, "A single man and a single woman, sleeping in the same cave. Do you think Uncle Master is blind? Sleeping in the same cave, why is this so awkward? I think you are not only blind, but also a fool." Of course, Lin Kaiyun only thought about it in his mind and would not say it out loud, but he did not want to become the person in Mamadi's mouth who coveted women and neglected his cultivation, so he explained it again. "Mamadi's uncle, her name is King. She is the neighbor of Taoist Simu and the disciple of Master Kaiyun. Did we come out to practice together?" Mamadi obviously disdained Lin Kaiyun's explanation and insisted that Lin Kaiyun had a relationship with King. She shook her sleeves and said, "Brother Simu? Master Kaiyun? And a disciple? Kaiyun, do you think your uncle can believe it?" "Well, believe it or not, I am too lazy to explain it to you." Lin Kaiyun thought to himself. Spread his hands, with an indifferent expression. He changed the subject and asked, "Uncle Master Mamadi, how did you pass by here? Was that you who heard the corpse driving sound just now?" Mamadi nodded and didn't hide anything. She replied directly, "Yes, I brought my 2 apprentices with me and was teaching them how to drive corpses. I happened to pass by here and didn't come across the charity cemetery, so I wanted to go into the cave to rest." Apprentices. Lin Kaiyun was stunned for a moment when he heard that, and then immediately said, "Uncle Master Mamadi, are your apprentices called Qiang and Ahao?" Mamadi looked at Lin Kaiyun in surprise and asked puzzledly, "Yes, how did you know?" "Do you know them?" Lin Kaiyun muttered softly and showed a forced smile. "How could I not know them? 3 years ago, when Mamadi left Renjia town, he didn't have any apprentices yet. At that time, Ren Tingting had not yet moved the graves and raised the corpses. In addition, Mamadi didn't have any apprentices, so Lin Kaiyun didn't know whether this world would actually go like in the movies. However, Ren Tingting has already risen from the dead, and Taoist Simu and Taoist Yixiu have also encountered royal zombies. This time, they came to do the task and met Yu Kilo and Zhali. Now that Mamadi has also accepted disciples, it is estimated that the plot of music zombies will begin. Although his expression is a bit serious, Lin Kaiyun is quite looking forward to the plot of music zombies. In the movie, there is a foreign scientist who has been studying zombies and constantly injecting zombies with drugs he developed. Finally, after Nintendo was injected, it mutated. Not only is it not afraid of sunlight, it is also immune to any Taoist magic. It can be said to be a perfect zombie without any flaws. Zombies were originally born from the resentment of people after death, and the corpse gas spread. They are not on the 5 elements and are almost immortal, but zombies are afraid of sunlight, fire, drug blood, glutinous rice, and Taoist magic. And once they are not afraid of anything, it is simply a bug. At this moment, hurried footsteps came from outside the cave. "Master, I'm back, Master, the zombies have been settled. Let's eat outside first." The 2 ran into the cave, talking breathlessly. These 2 people were Mamadi's apprentices, Ahao and Qiang. After they entered the cave, they also saw Lin Kaiyun. Ahao looked at Mamadi in confusion and asked quietly, "Master, is there anyone in this cave?" Mamadi didn't say anything, but stretched out her hand to introduce Lin Kaiyun. "Ahao, Qiang, this is Lin Kaiyun, the apprentice of your uncle Lin Jiu. You can just call him senior brother." Ahao and Qiang looked at each other, raised their hands to salute Lin Kaiyun, and shouted, "Ahao, Qiang, hello, senior brother." At this time, King, who had been sleeping soundly, was finally awakened. She had been walking on the mountain road all day and was exhausted. She slept very soundly, but she felt like there were many people in her ears. She thought she was dreaming, but the voice showed no sign of disappearing. King groaned, rubbed her eyes and sat up. She was suddenly startled to see several more people in the cave. She quickly ran behind Lin Kaiyun and asked in confusion, "Brother Lin, what's going on? Who are they?" Ahem, Mama coughed when she saw this. Although she was very proud, she didn't want to embarrass a little girl, so she had to say, "This is your senior brother's partner, you can just call her sister-in-law." When Ahao and Kaiyun heard this, they showed envy on their faces and called out, "Sister-in-law." Before the sister-in-law could say anything, Lin Kaiyun quickly stopped her. "Stop. No." Chapter 125, Are we going to run Jiazhuang? In the cave, the bonfire was lit again. The 5 people sat in a circle. Lin Kaiyun also distributed the remaining wild rabbits to the 3 masters and apprentices. "Do you understand?" Lin Kaiyun explained as much as he could. He had nothing to do with kinking. He was just her brother, so he should not call her nonsense. He didn't care, but kinking was a girl. It was always bad. "Understood, senior brother, don't worry, we are the most strict." Ahao chewed the rabbit head, wiped the oil on his mouth, nodded meaningfully, and said, "You know what I mean." Kaiyun chewed a toll and echoed indistinctly, "Wow, I am also strict." Lin Kaiyun's previous explanation, coupled with the statements of the two, made Kinking, who had a bold personality, a little embarrassed. She lowered her head and her face was red. Lin Kaiyun sighed and held his forehead helplessly. He now felt what it meant to make things worse. If you are not from the same family, you will not enter the same door. The ancestors are not lying to me. This is the case with the uncle of Mamadi. The 2 disciples he accepted are also the same. Why can't they understand what he says? Okay, you can't even stop eating. Mamadi scolded the 2 disciples, then scratched her butt without caring about her image, then picked up the rabbit leg and ate it quickly, and did not forget to remind the 2, "Eat quickly, while it's still dark, we still have to rush to the inn." Lin Kaiyun asked, "Uncle, you zombie, are you going to Ren Jiazhuang?" Ren Jiazhuang is the place where the musical zombie movie happened. Although the name is very similar to Renjia town, the distance is not close. There are many people with the surname Ren in it, and they belong to the same branch as Renfa in Renjia town. That's right, Mamadi nodded and glared at Lin Kaiyun. "How did you know?" "Calculated." Yes, Lin Kaiyun did not object. "HMPH, Mamadi snorted and said unhappily, "I didn't expect that senior brother Lin Jiu could teach geomancy and numerology so well. I really underestimated him." After a while, Mamadi and his apprentice rested for a while after eating, and then stood up and prepared to set off. "Kaiyun, Uncle Master has to continue on his journey, so let's say goodbye. Say hello to senior brother Lin Jiu for me, and remember to tell him that I am living a good life now." Mamadi's expression was very indignant when he mentioned Lin Jiu, especially when he said the word "very well" at the end. He almost gritted his teeth. As a junior brother, Mamadi practiced with Lin Jiu in Renjia town for a while at the beginning, but Lin Jiu always taught him a lesson, and in anger, Mamadi left and went to the world on his own. Although it can't be said that he has returned home in glory, he also wants Lin Jiu to know that he can also be prosperous. Lin Kaiyun knew about the dispute between the 2, and said with a smile, "Uncle Mamadi, you should tell Master in person." Hearing this, Mamadi raised her eyebrows and shouted excitedly, "What's the matter? Senior brother Lin Jiu is so stingy that he doesn't even want to listen to my affairs." "No." Lin Kaiyun waved his hands quickly and explained with a smile, "Uncle Mamadi, you misunderstood. I want to go with you. Maybe Master is also in Renjiazhuang." Lin Kaiyun also remembered that in the movie, Mamadi couldn't deal with Nintendo in the end, and he asked Lin Jiu to help. Of course, now that he is here, maybe the little Nintendo will be solved directly. Mamadi looked Lin Kaiyun up and down, and asked in confusion, "Are you going to Renjiazhuang too?" Lin Kaiyun nodded, "Yes, we're on the way." "Okay then. But we're driving corpses, so we won't be traveling very fast along the way." Mamadi didn't think there was anything wrong. Although he hated Lin Jiu, he was not very enthusiastic about Lin Kaiyun, but after all, he was a junior nephew. Although he was very sloppy, he was not so ungraceful. "Ahao, Kaiyun, line up the customers, we're ready to go," Mamadi ordered his apprentice, and then walked out of the cave with his hands behind his back. King saw Mamadi and his apprentice walk out of the cave, and came to Lin Kaiyun and asked quietly, "Brother Lin, do we really have to follow?" Lin Kaiyun smiled and said, King, don't worry, it won't take too much time, okay?" King pouted, and even though she was a little reluctant, she decided to follow Lin Kaiyun's arrangement. "Master, it's done, can we set off now?" The voices of Aheo and Akiang came from outside the cave. Lin Kaiyun knew that the two had already sorted out all the zombie customers, so he took King out. There were 2 rows of zombies, a total of 10, with talismans on their foreheads, and not too much dust on their Qing dynasty shrouds. It seems that what Master Mama said was right. His corpse-driving business is indeed good. Judging from the state of the zombies, his corpse-driving skills are not much worse than that of Taoist Simu, at least he did not harm the customers. Of course, with Taoist Simu's naughty character, being able to deliver the customers is already a great honor. Kaiyun, we are leaving now. You two just need to follow behind. You don't need to help, just chat with me, Mamadi said to Lin Kaiyun, and then shouted, "Aheo, Akiang, let's go, ring, ring, ring." Aheo rang the bell and shouted the jargon of corpse driving, "The Yin people are on the way, the Yang people are out of the way, the Yin people are on the way, the Yang people are out of the way." Akiang also scattered paper money. Mamadi's image was unkempt, but the doorway of corpse driving was very strict. This strange team had 2 more people walking in the dark. After walking for an unknown period of time, Lin Kaiyun relied on his eyesight to see the fire in front of him. It looked like a village or a town. He turned his head and said, "Uncle Master Mama, there may be a charity cemetery ahead." "Okay," Mama nodded and shouted to the apprentice in front of her, "Ahao, Kaiyun, hurry up and get to the town ahead before dawn." "Got it." The Yin people hurry on their way, the Yang people get out of the way, the Yin people hurry on their way, the Yang people get out of the way. Ahao and Kaiyun were obedient and sped up the speed of ringing the bells and scattering paper money. At the gate of the town, several soldiers with guns on their backs were sleeping in a crooked manner. They were awakened by the urgent sound of the bell and shouted unhappily, "Who are you? Why are you not sleeping at night and ringing a bell?" When a group of people approached, the soldiers guarding the gate also saw clearly that they were driving corpses, and cursed with disgust. "Bah, so unlucky." Ahao put the bell on his waist and said with a smile on his face, "Sir, we are driving corpses." After being awakened, the gatekeeper was in a bad mood to begin with. And he didn't give Ahao a good look, cursing, "Nonsense, I have seen it a long time ago, do I need you to tell me?" Seeing this, Lin Kaiyun walked up, probably frowned, pinched his fingers and said, "Tisk tisk tisk tisk, I see that your forehead is black. I'm afraid you will be unlucky these days. If you bump into the dead, you will be even more unlucky." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.